Countdown is on to the start of this inaugural Grand National race at Homestead, Florida. Talk about a track that has everything. How about windsurfing in the infield, folks? It's all part of Homestead. Take a look at the weather here today. 84 degrees, 67% humidity. Perfect day for a race, and we've got a good one for you, 43 cars strong. Let's go down to Mike Joy with the men in the front row.
Well, Joe Nemechek is getting strapped in and ready to roll. It's his home state, and he's on the first pole here, but a respiratory infection's had you down the last couple of days. How are you today?
I'm feeling a lot better. I'm gonna try doing my best out there. I'm a little bit weak today, but been taking a lot of fluids in. That's what it's going to take. It's going to be a long race. Just can't say enough for Bell South Mobility and Burger King for supporting us here. My crew did an excellent job preparing this car, and hopefully if I can do my job the rest of the day, we'll get this thing in victory lane.
Okay, good luck, Joe. His younger brother John will stand by, as will Bobby Labonte. Now here's Bobby Labonte's car on the front row by but a 1/10 of a second. David Green alongside. But in practice, David, this track spun around and bit you, and you're in a backup car today. What happened during last practice?
Well, I don't really know, Mike. We were cutting a good lap right there, you know, and the track's really slippery up high. And I guess I got the Slim Jim Monte Carlo up a little bit too high, but hey, you guys did a great job. This car was awesome. Last time we run it at Bristol, we won in it, and you know, again, the other car was great too, and I want to be up here with Joe and all that, but this Chevrolet's going to be tough today.
Well, he'll start from the rear, out of the action, and the way some drivers are talking, that may be a good place to be in these opening laps. Let's go back from the front row and find the 1995 Series champion with Dick Berggren.
Well, I'm with Johnny Benson, Mike, and he could not have had a rougher introduction to Grand National Racing. In his first race ever with this series, he flipped the car. But Benson caught on quick, and last year he was the Series Rookie of the Year. This year he has won 2 races and the championship. But next year he goes on to something else, Winston Cup. You leave the team with which you won your championship. Nothing to lose, John. How do you run the race today?
I'll tell you what, this Base Motorsports team done such a great job. We're going to run this race just like we've been trying all year. Just be smooth, be there at the end. Heck, we're going to try to go for it like we did a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago at Rockingham. And we're going to see if we can't win this.
And Ken, every driver down here on pit road knows the key to having a good day is to keep the car out of this concrete wall.
PIV, patience is a virtue, and it really plays a big role in a track like this. Not only is this track a terrific racing facility, but it represents a major step on the comeback trail for the Homestead community. 3 years ago, Hurricane Andrew hit South Florida, leaving devastation in its wake. 90% of Homestead's buildings and homes were damaged or destroyed. The cost in money, $2 billion. In human terms, shattered hopes and tattered dreams. 10,000 left, but the 20,000 who stayed demonstrated some old-fashioned American moxie. They dug in, dug out, living in tents while rebuilding. New housing developments, restoration of what could be saved, the business district returned. And today, people are coming back to Homestead. The Homestead Air Force Base partially reopened. Back on Thursday, Grand National driver Jason Keller and his crew helped out in Homestead's unique Habitat for Humanity program, lending hand and hammer to continue construction.
It really is a thing of giving. You know, these people have been through so much as far as the Andrew and all tearing everything up down here. You know, to build the area back up, it's really nice. And you know, I'm not doing a whole lot down here, but if I can bring some recognition to Habitat for Humanity, that's what I'm really down here for.
Jason Keller, who will start in 7th place in today's field. He has 1 win this year at Indianapolis. Of course, that was Indianapolis Raceway Park. Good luck, Jason, and thanks for all of your help this week. The agricultural community of Homestead, all around this racetrack, potatoes and strawberries and the things we eat from the produce department every day, and that business is back and going at full steam at the present time. And we want to thank the entire Homestead community for their hospitality, for their generosity this week. The Homestead Motorsports Complex and all the other new rebuilt areas are a testament to the spirit and the hard work of these people of South Florida. The Grand Marshal for today's race started his racing career 30 minutes away. This was the car, Hialeah Speedway. I don't want to tell you how many years back that Robert Arthur Allison waved that checkers at Hialeah, where they raced last night. He's down on the track now. His career, of course, marked with Florida, marked with Daytona. Probably the greatest moment. You see Bobby Allison standing down here was that tremendous victory he had at Daytona. Let's go to Bobby for those famous words. There's Judy with him.
Momentarily will give us the call to begin.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
Got a twofer.
Yes, Judy chimed in there with Bobby's wife.
Oh, that was wonderful. The fireworks are in the air. They're about to be on a 1.5-mile speedway, folks. Don't go away. CBS flag-to-flag coverage of the inaugural Grand National Race here at the Homestead Motorsports Complex. The Jiffy Lube Miami 300. The inaugural Grand National Race here at the Homestead Motorsports Complex. It looks grand, it is grand, and it is just the beginning. It'll be 3 laps after they come down pit road, and the field is ready to roll, ready to move out for the first start of Grand National. We had a great dash race yesterday. We had an exciting truck race, but this is what has been sold out for weeks. Field rolling away to complete the 1995 Grand National season. And ladies and gentlemen, here is your starting grid for the last race of the year. The 21st different pole winner this year at 134.6, Joe Nemechek, sick, but he's on the pole trying to stay with it. He wanted Jeff Bodine to take over. David Green is going to have to pull out of that front row and go all the way to the rear because he's in a backup car. In row 2 today, it's Kenny Wallace, winner at Richmond, and Tim Fedewa, who we saw win at Nazareth. In row 3, Derek Cope is there with Terry Labonte, the winner at Watkins Glen on CBS. Row 14, Jason Keller and Mark Martin, a 3-time winner. In row 5, it's Hermie Sadler and this year's Grand National champion, Johnny Benson. Row 6 is Elton Sawyer and Magic Shoes, Mike Mclaughlin. Row 7, Jeff Green driving for Dale Earnhardt and Tracy Leslie. Row 8 today is Greg Sachs and Todd Bodine. In row 9, it's Rich Bickle and Ken Schroeder. Row 10 is Chad Little and Jeff Purvis. For row 11 today, Doug Hevron and the youngest in the field, Buckshot Jones. Row 12, it's Larry Pearson and Phil Parsons. For row 13, the 1990 Grand National champion, Chuck Bown and Dale Jarrett. Row 14, Ward Burton, hot off that first Winston Cup victory, and Curtis Markham. Row 15, Tommy Houston at 50, the oldest driver in the field, and Mike Wallace. Row 16 today, Mike Garvey and Steve Reeves, the former USAC midget champion. Row 17, Ron Teal and Rodney Combs. Row 18, Dennis Setzer driving for Jimmy Spencer today, and Michael Waltrip. Row 19, Robbie Reiser and Johnny Chapman. Row 20, Jeff Fuller and Bobby Dotter. Row 21 from Vermont, Kevin LePage and Johnny Rumley. And rounding out the field, Steve Grissom, the 1993 Grand National champion. Ernie Irvin among the 20 who did not make the field, and we'll give you the complete rundown on that in a moment or two as the field completes the first of the preliminary laps, and the entire crowd standing up and waving off this field as they come by. Take a look at the race analysis.
Ken, the total purse is over $580,000, the second richest purse in the Busch Grand National Series. 43 cars starting here today, and the length of the race is 300 miles, which is 200 laps on this track.
Pretty good take. Take a look at the manufacturer's standings here. Manufacturer's breakdown first. There's 25 Chevys in the field, 14 Fords, and 4 Pontiacs make up the field that's going to go racing today. And we've got a problem out here in turn 1. A couple of cars easy enough, picking up the pace again.
Well, these cars are just making their way back to the back of the field. Now, Terry Labonte, his car was qualified by his brother Bobby, so he has to go to the rear of the field, and David Green, as we pointed out earlier, has to go to the rear of the field.
Phil Parsons, another that's going to pull back out of his starting position. Take a look at the point battle. As we mentioned, John, in the point battle for Manufacturers Championship, that is close.
Very close.
Ford
yes.
and Chevrolet, 13 and 12 wins. But if Chevy's going to pull a victory to here today, they got to get some help from their cousins.
Well, they really do, Ken. Chevrolet has to win, and the Pontiac has to finish in front of the first Ford that finishes here in order for Chevrolet to win the championship.
So there's the story on the Grand National Manufacturer standings. There are the point standings. Benson has sewed up the title, but look at that battle for second place. Chad Little really being challenged. Mclaughlin 17 points back. If he only got to 17, it was a tie. Little would win because he has 6 wins this season. So he needs 18 points to get this one done. And a note for our Spanish-speaking NASCAR fans. This broadcast is available on SAP in Miami, Los Angeles, Phoenix, Houston, and Harlingen, Texas. You Spanish-speaking NASCAR fans, Spanish announcers right in the next booth over to us. Whole different flavor to this event down here in Miami. Hope you're all going to enjoy it.
And you can see the finger go up by the NASCAR officials. Just one more lap and we'll be racing.
Got some dandy in-car cameras for you today we think you're going to like. Who else but the man himself, Mark Martin, master on this size track. He says he doesn't like it. I think that's the best news of all. You find somebody say they didn't like it, they usually go like, except Bodine, who likes them all. Johnny Benson's going to give you these kind of pictures today. Johnny Benson moving on into Winston Cup competition next year. What a fine addition he's going to be to that series. And Chad Little, who is going to stay in Grand National at least another, perhaps 2 years, with brand new sponsorship from John Deere. So we're ready to go racing, folks. Hope you're going to stay with us for CBS Flag to Flag coverage this afternoon. Jeff Bodine and Ned Jarrett along to help us, and we're looking forward to some exciting racing. Now, as you know, that first race up at Loudon, New Hampshire Grand National took 4 hours, 12 minutes, long time, 300-mile race. Now, do you think that these guys are going to lift and show a little respect out here today, Jeff?
Well, right now they're planning that first corner, how to get into that corner. They're all bunched up right now. They all know it's very tight. They know it's slippery on the outsides. They're trying to figure out how they're going to maneuver that corner without causing a big wreck. And there's been a lot of concern, a lot of talk about, are there going to be a lot of wrecks, or is this going to be a clean race? Nobody really knows. We all kind of expect a little action. Let's hope it's not too much.
Coming to turn 3, they say this track to some of them feels like a combination of Nazareth and of Loudon, New Hampshire.
Has some road racing characteristics, I would say, as many turns as it has. And certainly getting the car set up just right to get the maximum traction off these turns is a challenge, has been to the crews, and the drivers hope they got it right as the pace car pulls off, and we're about ready to go racing.
The introduction of a brand new racing facility to the United States of America. It's as nice as they said it would be. It is as friendly a track as we've ever been at. These people in Homestead are so proud of this $60 million facility. Nemechek leads them down. Into turn 1. What gear are you in here?
You're in high gear right now, Ken. And believe me, they're all happy right now. They made it through that first corner.
Down into turn 2 in the sort out. Nemechek draws out in front by 10 car lengths as he tries to get some distance on that field. And he is really under the weather. 2 days ago, after he set himself on the pole, he was not feeling well, but he stuck around, did all the interviews for anybody. Signed. We got a bad crash in turn 3. 3 cars out of control, and up into the wall goes one hard before we get one lap in. That's Tracy Leslie, who has golfed the wall hard, and with him, Elton Sawyer is down on the inside. Sawyer's car is coming around.
And I think Chad Little might have been caught up in it as well. Chad's coming down pit road. There's the Tracy Leslie car number 86. Now, Chad, I see the right side of his car as he comes down pit road is okay, but nevertheless, he's making a pit stop here on this very first lap.
Tracy Leslie hammers the wall, and he is in back end of his car. That looks like the end of the day. I mean, they maybe will do a patch-up job, but it'll be a while.
Well,
like
maybe
they have gotten to the rear clip.
Yeah, his car does look pretty banged up. Now, Chad Little, I mentioned, I don't think he was involved in the wreck. Maybe something was wrong with his race car. Let's go to the pits and Mike Joy.
Ned, Chad Little was not in the wreck. He felt on the start of the race like he had a spark plug wire come off, and one is indeed loose. He has shut off the engine. Now, Chad very tenuously hanging on to second in points over Mike McLaughlin. And here comes another set of ignition wires over the wall to go on his Ford.
And they're going to have to hurry, Mike. The pace car is coming into turn 4 right now, and they certainly don't want to go a lap down this early in the race.
Chad Little's Ford on pit road. The pace car has the field down in turn number 4 before a lap was done. Tracy Leslie hammers the concrete in turn 3 hard. Dick Berggren has more.
Well, Leslie may have hammered the concrete, Ken, but the crew is hammering on the car, trying to pound the wheel wells out enough just to get tires underneath it. Just before the start of this race, he said, I finally got a break. When Kyle Petty failed to make this event, Leslie picked up his sponsor. Well, he didn't even make one lap with that sponsor, and this car is well torn up. Both the back end and the left side of it are badly damaged.
Chad Little getting out here and not losing a lap in number 23.
And Tracy Leslie, however, did lose a lap. Now, Elton Sawyer, their other driver who was involved in that, he drove his car on around, caught up to the tail end of the field, and is now coming down pit road. So apparently the damage not too severe on Elton Sawyer's Ford.
Nemechek, that lead up by his, he's led a Grand National, hadn't led a Grand National race since October of '94 back in Charlotte. We can get a look at what happened out here in this incident in turn 3.
Well, you can see Leslie is already sideways, and here's Sawyer in the white car, number 38, spinning down to the inside, and everybody else trying to thread their way through. And here's one car coming all the way down on the inside. Look like maybe Larry Pearson, I'm not sure.
Heavy on the brakes.
Yeah, they're just trying to get by to get back to the start-finish line. They know there will be a caution. And again, here's the tail end of it. I would guess, Jeff, that probably somebody bumped Tracy Leslie going into the corner there just a little bit, got him out of shape and into the wall, and Elton Sawyer just got caught up in it.
Yeah, we didn't see that, but Mike Joy is down at pit road, got another report.
It was a loose plug wire. The end on these spark plug wires, inside this rubber boot, there's a metal clip that hooks onto the spark plug. They found one this morning that wasn't on there quite tight and then started the race. Another one had loosened up, and here you can just about pull this apart. I think now they have it on securely, and they've managed to get Chad back out without losing a lap.
And Mike, as they come around this time, they get the signal for one more lap, and we'll go back to green flag racing. So Chad will catch up to the back of the field. He has a long way to go, but it's better to catch that problem early and get it fixed if you can.
That's a real break for Chad Little. Winner of 6 races this year, trying to hold second in the standings. And right now, McLaughlin would have him covered and take second position away from him. So we get ready on a restart. Field is out of 2. Chad Little more than a half a lap behind him as he tries to play catch up. Phil Parsons is on pit road, and I think Little is going to give it another shot here. Here's
I think Phil just came in perhaps to cap the fuel off. He was one of those drivers that was involved in an accident in the last practice here yesterday, had to go to a backup car. As a result, he had to go to the rear of the field, so he had nothing to lose coming in and topping off.
Now there's the 3rd pit stop. He has not gone a lap down as yet, but he's about a quarter of a lap from doing so right now. Here's Mike again.
Ken, they want to make sure they have all those wires on tight, so they're going underneath and checking, shut the engine off, and make sure everything's tight. Phil Parsons was at the tail end of the line and came in for gas. Crew Chief David Iff says if the caution comes out in 5 laps, we're coming in again. We're at the end anyway, so we want to have a full tank for a long run.
Hood down, field coming out of turn number 4. Chad Little trying to get it fired up. He will go a lap down, doesn't stand a chance here. He's rolling.
Yeah, but the field is going to be rolling faster when he gets down to turn 1. As you say, the green is out, and Chad will not be able to get back out in front of him, so he will go a lap down.
He's past the line, and now he's down into turn number 1 on the entry road. Back onto the track, and the field rolls by him.
Yeah, the NASCAR rules are that there's an inside lane around this track where you have to exit the pit area.
And there's trouble over in turn 2, Jeff. Lots of cars going to be involved in this one.
2.
Well,
right
maybe it won't be as many as we thought.
Everybody off it. That looks like Todd Bodine in the 72 for 1. Racing back to the line.
And there's Greg Sachs in car number 33, the other one involved. Race back to the line. 2nd caution of the day.
So with 4 laps now complete, 2 wrecks thus far. Nemechek stays first. Kenny Wallace to 2nd on that exchange. Derek Cope slots himself into 3rd spot. Tim Fedowa 4th. Mark Martin in 5th.
Jeff, so far we've seen this track have pretty good self-cleaning on these 2 accidents we've seen. Of course, every accident is different, but when that first started, I thought, man, all of those cars coming off behind them there, I thought we was going to have 10 or 12 cars involved in it, and fortunately we only had the 2.
There's quite a bit of room off these corners where, and the speeds are down a little bit where you can maneuver and get out of that trouble, but there is enough room, and we're going to see a replay of what happened over there. It looks like Tad got up in the loose stuff just high in that corner and just lost the car.
And I would guess that Greg Sachs probably backed off, and maybe someone else didn't see it and tapped him a little bit, and he spun to the inside. Greg is in the pits right now.
And everyone missed everyone. It's a miracle sometimes that happens.
Todd was right in the middle of the track as he did a 360 and followed it up. Just being able to roll it away there.
Greg Sachs has his service, and he's headed back out. And here is Todd pulling up beside of somebody there.
It's
Phil Parsons. I'm sure he's having Phil to take a look at the, well, no, he's coming into pits is what he's doing. I thought maybe he's going to have him take a look to see if the fender was rubbing or anything like that. So
he's probably flat spotted those tires, Ned,
yeah.
and he might as well, he's way back. He might as well come in and get 4 new ones and start over again.
Good point. Of course, Todd is a fill-in driver in this car. This is a car that Tracy Leslie had driven all year long, the Ron Parker car. And Parker and Tracy split ways a few weeks ago, and Todd Bodine was named to drive it, and he won his first race with it.
Led 1 lap and won. It's the 1 lap he's won and pulled that one off. Homestead, Florida, 7 laps complete, 2 cautions already on the day. And for Chad Little, it goes from bad to worse. He's just been pushed in by a record after that beginning this season. Great beginning, now such a dismal finish after all these races at the end of the year. 1 top 5 finish in the last 8 races. What's the problem out here? Well, perhaps Kenny Wallace can enlighten us a little as he talked with Mike Joy.
With the help of these carefully fabricated CBS props, Kenny Wallace will show us how tough it's going to be to pass here. Now, Kenny, here's a lapped car coming out of turn 4.
Right, this is really going to be tough. Here's the leader, this car right here. He's going to come up on this lap car right here. You're going to have to let out of the gas. The leader's going to have to let out of the gas because he's going to run over this lap car. You're thinking that this guy is going to have advantage, the guy in 2nd place, because he's not going to have to let out of the gas. The guy that's got the real advantage, it's like Daytona coming off. The guy in 3rd spot is going to get underneath the 2nd place car. You're going to go off down these straightaways 3 wide. I think you're going to see a lot of that.
And if somebody gets impatient,
you're junk. You're like sandwich right in the middle.
Kenny Wallace, who right now is in 2nd place, and he wants to take that shot right down on the inside of Joe Nemechek. Did you notice that that can just happened to be the one that's the sponsor of his car? Isn't it amazing how that just worked out?
It is amazing, yeah.
He'll sell anything.
There he is.
All right, Kenny Wallace in 2nd spot. We're about a lap away from getting this one back underway. They've still got some safety equipment on the back stretch. Let's go to Mike Joy.
Ken, we had to look for about an hour to find that one particular can. They've taken the distributor off of Chad Little's car. They found that the distributor rotor and the button are intact and working. You see them tightening that right now. Inside the car, a mechanic is replacing the entire ignition module. That's the electronic black box that provides the spark to fire those cylinders. Chad, was there any warning or did it just shut off?
It happened immediately. I mean, there was no warning at all. We just came down for the green flag and it started missing, and then by the time we got to the first lap around, it had cut off completely, and then it fired again, and then it died again. So we've got something majorly wrong with the electronic system.
Let's hope he can get back out.
And the man in 3rd place in the standings has a chance to move up. Mclaughlin starting 9th on this field. Nemechek, Wallace, Cope, Fedewa, Mark Martin, Johnny Benson, Jason Keller, Hermie Sadler, McLaughlin 9th, Ken Schroeder 10th. Jeff Green and Jeff Purvis get them back underway. Action-packed beginning, 2 cautions already, and they have done a number on the paint job, coming out of 2 and over in turn 3 thus far.
Well, we see some passing going on back in the field there a little bit as Buckshot Jones gets on the outside.
Got trouble, one spinning out of turn 2. Down to the inside. Let's see if caution's coming out. It's in the grass and continuing. That looks to be Tracy Leslie again.
As Tracy spent a good bit of time on the pit road, no caution. He got himself righted and headed on around, so we're maybe going to get more than 1 full lap under green.
Pull that one off. They've got a lap in. Sachs all the way on the back with Leslie. Nemechek up in front, but here comes Kenny Wallace trying to chase him down to the back straightaway. Where do you get into the brakes going into 3 down there?
Right about, well, it's way down in the corner. It's farther than you might expect. These cars have really good brakes, and normally on a 1.5-mile track like this, you don't see brake coolers, but on these cars today, you see them. These brakes get really hot, so they're having to cool the brakes at the end of every straightaway.
Derek Cope pulling up 3rd spot, going after Kenny Wallace. They get another one in under green. Tracy Leslie is back on pit road. It's the inaugural event for Grand National Cars at the
And here's Ken
Homestead
Schroeder
complex.
making a pass on the champ. Johnny Benson caught on the outside. There's Jeff Green trying to go by on the inside in car number 3.
Benson giving you those pictures back as you look at the Jeff Purvis number 4 pulling up.
Yeah, once you get on that outside, you're going to be history until you get room to pull back in line.
In that driver's meeting, they told these fellas patience is a virtue. It doesn't look like they listened because too wide through these corners this early in the race is really a tough call.
Johnny Benson giving you these pictures. Johnny Benson currently in 12th spot. Consultation flag is out, and I thought it was on bound. Coming by, black flag was down. We'll see if we can get word on that. Here's Benson taking you into turn 2 and down into the back straightaway. Chasing Jeff Purvis in 11th position, the number 4 car. Just behind him, the 63 of Curtis Markham. Mile and a half, Homestead Motorsports Complex is where the action is today here on CBS. Last race of the year for the Grand National cars. That black flag was out for Chuck Bound. Consultation flag is out on him. Curtis Markham making the move.
On Johnny Benson. Benson having some kind of problems here early. His car just not working too good as Curtis Markham goes on around him almost with ease. I think Benson's car is pushing up a little bit coming off the turns, especially off turn 4, and they're getting a run on him and coming down on the inside of him.
Here's Chuck Bound on pit road. Chuck Bound coming in. And they're pulling the hood up on his car. And you just discovered a fluid leak or something there.
And look at this, Nemechek is just pulling away from Kenny Wallace, and doesn't look like Joe's too sick today. I wish I'd taken him up on that offer to drive that thing. I'll tell you, he is flying.
He has a great race car.
But he is hurting. He's had the flu all week. He wanted Jeff to step in.
But sometimes, Ken, a race car can be the best medicine that you can have.
Harry Gant will tell you that. Well, Ned Jarrett used to tell those stories too. Let's go to Dick Bergen.
Well, they've just closed the hood on Chuck Bounds, Ken. They don't know exactly what's wrong with his motor. They didn't do anything to it. It sounded poorly as he came in under power. Sitting here at idle, it was just fine, but he's going to have to do a whole lot better than idle if he's going to make any time here this afternoon.
Nemechek coming by. Second place man falling back into the hands of Derek Cope, Kenny Wallace. Fedewa stays 4th. Mark Martin 5th. Jason Keller 6th. Hermie Sadler 7th. Mclaughlin is in 8th, and 9th is Jeff Green with Ken Schroeder 10th. Purvis and Curtis Markham filling that field out. And the guy on the roll right now is Dale Jarrett. He has come up to 13th position. Jarrett is flying through this field at the present time.
Well, make that 12th. They just went around Johnny Benson to pass him. His car is moving very well.
Leader, Nemechek, 1992 Grand National champion when he won it by, what, 3 points over Bobby Labonte? What a job he's doing right now. The question is, can he stay up with it?
This track takes a little while to get back in the groove, so to speak, to get used to. It did for me the other day. I think the fellas didn't wait for that to happen today. We had a few accidents really early, but now things have settled down and everything looks like it's going really smooth. They're doing a lot of passes, but no problems.
There you see Jarrett in the 32 as he fights his way up to Curtis Markham in the 63. Goes after Purvis in the 4. This could be a big move right here.
I don't think he'll try to make, well, maybe I started to say I didn't think he'd try to make it 3 wide, but he does help Markham get on by and then pulls on the inside of him. So
sure, he wasn't going to do anything like that.
Well, I didn't think he'd make it 3 deep down in that turn.
Well, that draft is wonderful, and when you got the inside line, you take it.
What a run. As right now, Jarrett is the quickest car on the track, as it was in qualifying, but he was fastest on the second day of qualifying and continues to ramble up through this field. Now we have Jarrett pulling up into 11th position. Back with you with now 22 laps complete. Nemechek in front, Kenny Wallace in second, and Derek Cope, who had been running in third, he's off the pace. Faltering, failing, down the back straightaway is car number 50. Mark Martin is going to go to third. Fedewa pulling up into 4th. Keller coming to 5th. Something's wrong with the former winner of the Daytona 500. It is the number 50 car headed onto pit road. Derek Hope, who was making such a great run here today, in trouble and headed into the garage area, and maybe right behind the wall for the 1990 Daytona 500 winner. Well, there's a surprise. He was running well, driving consistently. Mike Joy has more.
Ken, Bobby Jones, the crew chief, says he believes they have lost the clutch in that car. Cope is going to the garage. Chad Little is back in the race. They put a new ignition module in his car this morning so they wouldn't have any trouble. It was intermittent. The old one would have been better. He's back out there, but he is 13 laps behind.
So there's an update on the, there's the man in the lead. Update on further back in the field. Nemechek now has some breathing room, but he's got Kenny Wallace coming after him, and then Martin. Taking a look further back in the field, there's the 44, and that is David Green. Remember, he qualified outside of the front row, then crashed the car in the final practice, had to come back out with a backup car and started dead last. He is up to 26th position as he works his way carefully, and I think that's the key word, carefully, through the field.
Even though it's difficult to pass on this racetrack, he said he had a great car, even though he had to go to a backup car. Didn't get any laps in practice with this particular car, but he knew the setup. They put the setup they had under the other car, and apparently it's working well for him. He's just picking his way right on up through there. Coming after Rumley right now for 24th position, and Combs is just in front of him. Johnny Rumley right there in that black car. And he's making a run on Chad Little. Remember, Little in big trouble, 10 laps down. Mclaughlin taking over second place in the standings. Grissom to the inside. 3 abreast. Johnny Benson on the outside. And Benson goes very high. His car's still not working very good here for him today as Steve Grissom moves on around.
And you saw the 44 car back up. Green went in high, and Rumley took him back big time.
Yeah, that was Johnny Rumley in the middle of that pack. Here's 3 abreast again. Phil Parsons down on the inside. He knows he's got the right spot, but Greg Sachs knows he doesn't have, so he backed off.
Terry Labonte just in the front of that group. Terry back there. This is all back in 27th, 28th position. Derek Cope out of the race.
Boy, he had a great run at Phoenix last week. Best run of the year in Winston Cup racing for the Bobby Allison team.
Wasn't that great for Bobby Allison, second place? Allison, the Grand Marshal, here today, back in the land where it all began with he and Judy. Hialeah Speedway, 30 minutes away, where they raced again last night and have for years. Let's go to Mike Joy.
Derek Cope, short day in the heat. What happened?
Well, unfortunately, you know, we got something wrong in the rear end of the car. Either an axle broke, the ratchets broke, or the clutch, something. The thing just wouldn't hook up, and the RPM goes way up. But
can you run much 2 abreast here?
No, you can't. It's a 1-groove racetrack right now. You got to try to get position, get the car to turn underneath somebody off the corner so you can get down the straightaway. But unfortunately, we're not going to be a part of that with Health Source or UAW today.
Well, Ken, there's another guy with a little bit of a respiratory problem. I got a little bit of that. Joe Nemechek has it. Maybe something in the air.
How you feeling, Bodine? You may be the... Everybody feels a little peaky today. Hope you're in good shape.
I feel great after yesterday's Super Truck win.
Yeah, and he won it big time.
Yeah, when you win, I'll tell you that cures a whole lot of ailments if you have any.
And let me tell you, the Truck Series, folks, is going to begin. The official word from NASCAR comes tomorrow, but I think you want to maybe make some plans right now. March the 17th, they're going to open the Truck Series for 1996 right here at Homestead, biggest purse in its history. I figure maybe you'll show up.
Well, they say when we come back next time, we won't recognize the place. It's beautiful now, but they say they have a lot more to do, and they're going to get it done before then.
We have 28 laps now complete, 42 miles. That leaves a lot of laps to go on this one, 172. We've had 2 cautions thus far in the early going. Now they've settled down, and they're giving us a very good race. Incidentally, Mclaughlin, there he is in the 34. He's coming right after the #1 car of Hermie Sadler. That's for 7th position. And Mclaughlin, if he can keep it all stitched together, and he won't back out. I mean, he may take a spot in the points. All he wants is the win. There you see Jarrett in the 32, coming from 26th position. He's up to 9th, and he's on a mission this afternoon.
Well, Dale did have the fastest time, as you said, but it was on the second day. So a new track record was set by Joe Nemechek when he qualified, of course, since it was a brand new track. And then Jarrett came along and broke that record yesterday. However, we'll have to say that the somewhat cloudy conditions and a little bit cooler, and that certainly helped Dale. But nevertheless, it is he holds the track record.
But he was as quick as anything that was here in practice as well.
Yeah, he was really a little bit faster than most. You can see where your favorite driver is running as we give the complete rundown.
Watching the 00 here, that's Buckshot Jones, youngest driver in the field. He's come up for a few and hasn't made it. He's in this one big time. Had a great qualifying run. And he's up in 19th position. Nemechek staying in front, Kenny Wallace in second, Mark Martin third, Fedewa fourth. Now Jason Keller has come to fifth. Jeff Green is in sixth. Sadler, Mike Mclaughlin eighth, Dale Jarrett, Ward Burton 10th, Schroeder 11th, and Mike Wallace. As we take a look at that top 12 out here on the field. Mike Wallace, what a job he's done.
Yeah, he's come from 30th place too. He's followed Dale Jarrett right on up through the pack.
Jarrett coming from 26 to crack the top 10.
And Ward Burton coming from 27th up to 10th. So all of those drivers started way back and coming right along.
Well, there you see the leader, Nemechek, continuing to set a pace. Story here is his personal health. He has the flu. He has it bad. He was looking for drivers to fill in for him, but you wouldn't know it right now. Out in front and leading, Kenny Wallace, Mark Martin, and Tim Fedewa here in the Miami Jiffy Lube 300. Stand by for more. In the 34th lap, caution is out for the third time today in this Grand National finale, and here's why. Watch the 25 coming through turn 3.
Johnny Rumley went in there. I don't know if he got in a little bit fast or what happened, but the car just got loose on him, Jeff, and it looked like he got up in the loose stuff maybe a little bit too much and never could get it back under control.
Yeah, you get up a little too high. There's a lot of sand and gravel and loose rubber, and Johnny got up into it. It looked like he almost had it straightened out, but then he lost it down the short straightaway.
You think that Rich Bickle got a little piece of it there going into the corner?
Maybe not with any sheet metal, but he did with his air. Yeah, he definitely turned him loose by getting that close. And Johnny was running alumina, which, you know, those cars don't have the downforce the new Monte Carlos do, and got him a little sideways.
Hey, we see some cars in the pits. Surprisingly, the front-running cars did not come in the pits. Johnny Benson, we mentioned that he was having some problems. Let's go to the pits and Mike Joy.
Ned, only a few of the leaders are in. Champion Johnny Benson, defending champion David Green, and Terry Labonte. They were all taking on right side tires. At least that's what Green did, but now Johnny Benson wants all 4 tires. They only have 3 sets of tires that they can use during the running of this event. And I think for track position, most teams would have come in here and just gotten 2 on this stop. Benson may have changed the thinking of some of those.
And when we say only 3 sets of tires that they can use, that is during caution period that they can only put on 3 different sets. Now, under green, I understand, Mike, is that correct that you can change as many tires as you want to under green?
That's my understanding, Ned. Looking for what's bolted up here, each of the teams do have more tires available to them, but definitely 3 sets under caution is all they're allowed. It's a little bit of a cost management rule applied here, and because passing is so difficult, we figured a lot of teams would just take on 2 tires and get a track position further up front than those that got 4. But now this next time around, hardly anybody on the lead lap is coming in, so looks like they're going to try to run a while. I think they can get about 70 laps out of a tank of fuel here before they have to come in. Dick Berggren?
And one of the interesting features of this tire rule is usually when you're limited on tires, they'll let you have tires if anything happens to the ones that you're running. If you flat spot them, if you get flats, you get new ones to make up. Not here. You get 3 sets and 3 sets only, unless late in the race NASCAR decides that because of tire wear, which they don't anticipate, they give everybody another set. Right now it's just 3 sets, and that includes the cut tires, the flat spotted tires. No matter what your problem is, that's all you get. Ken?
The 14 leaders pitted, and all are back on the track. Here are the cars right now. We have a moment in this caution period that failed to qualify, and there's Glenn Allen Jr., Belmont, great racer, Jimmy Bound, Ricky Craven, Chris Diamond, Dale Fischlin. Line didn't make it again this time. Mark Green, Shane Hall, Ernie Irvin, a big story here, ran the truck race, gave it a great show, but didn't make this show. Red Cagle's kid didn't make it. Patty Moise.
Kyle Petty, you see there, Tom Peck, Pete Orr, Tony Stewart, who's trying to make his way into this, and Dick Trickle, of course, crashed in practice early yesterday, and Dennis Setzer is driving the car number 20 today. It was sort of a changeover, but Dennis Setzer is in the car number 20.
we have a total of 32 cars in the lead lap. They're showing 32 cars remaining in the lead lap.
So we've gone about the half of the distance of a gas stop, so that explains why the explanation between Mike Joy and Dick Berggren, why we did not see the front runners come into the pits here. They want to save those tires for cautions later on.
Let's take a look at how this track was built. This 1.5 miles just south of Miami, Florida. We're running this inaugural event today. When first we came here with Ricky Craven a year ago, we stood in one part and Ralph Sanchez says, "You are in turn 1." Ricky turned to me and said, "I think we are also in a gravel pit." This is how far they've come. Actually, in less than a year, putting this construction together. The tower, as nice as anyone around, the grandstands, they will keep adding to these. They put up 60,000 seats and sold them out a month before the race. Look for more from Homestead in the future. Finishing touches, they're still working on at this very hour, and they say wait till the next race. And as we understand it, March the 17th is when you're going to see the NASCAR Super Truck Series open their season right here in South Florida. Great crowd out today enjoying this race, and a tremendous crowd out yesterday. And I got to tell you, Jeff, as much fun as anything I've seen in a long time was when you and Skinner were out here really running. And every lap you came by, the whole grandstand stood up and cheered. You'd have thought you'd been at the Chemung Speedway or the Norwood Arena years ago. Gosh, it was fun to watch.
It was a lot of fun out there too, Ken. This track is really a great track for the super trucks. A little concern about the speeds here, but we proved yesterday that the trucks can handle this speed, and these cars are proving it again today. They're coming down for the green flag right now, and again, Joe Nemechek on the pole. Kenny Wallace is in second. And the fast cars line up on the inside here in the Busch Grand National Series, and there they go.
Mark Martin in third as they come to the line. Tim Fedewa in fourth. That's Jason Keller coming up in fifth, followed by Jeff Green, Hermie Sadler, Mclaughlin, Dale Jarrett, Ward Burton.
Mike Wallace got a great run going on the outside, past several cars going into the first turn, but he was on the outside when he got there, and that wasn't good. He's losing at least that many spots back now.
We're getting a report there may be a little breakup down there in the asphalt in turn 1. We'll follow that story for you, try to give you an update on the man that's leading, Joe Nemechek, set on the pole. And Thiever is the story there.
And these fellas behind are doing some great racing. They're not giving anyone any breaks. If a guy can get his nose underneath somebody going into the corners, he puts it there and puts the other guy on the outside. And there we see a patch through turn 1.
But that's been there all along. That's been there for months.
Right, and it didn't break up yesterday in the dash race or the truck race. And
I think that's a missed call. That doesn't look like anything more than what it's been right along.
Now this is a great surface here, very smooth and a lot of grip as you see these cars make these passes. Now there's Mark Martin getting past going into turn 3. Now that's a little strange. He was running really good. Keep an eye on him, see if he's got a problem.
Yeah, he was up in third and he slipped back a spot.
It's Tim Fedewa that went around him in car number 55.
Mark's still going, so maybe there isn't a problem, but he does look a little slow down the straightaway.
Let's see what happens, because right behind him is that Jason Keller. There's a racer. He'll come after you big time. Here's Dick Berggren.
Well, I'm with Tommy Houston, Ken, and he is the most experienced driver in this series. Tommy, you've run a lot of racetracks. What does it look like to you? Is it breaking up?
No, everything was perfect. You could go inside, outside, or at least I could with my car. And, you know, I mean, it's just beautiful. You couldn't ask for a better racing day, better track position, better track condition. You know, the tires are wearing great. You know, we just lost a valve, and we can't replace it.
Can't blame the racetrack for the valve.
No, that track's still in very good shape. Under a lot of heat and pressure right now.
Well, I'm impressed right here with Joe Nemechek. He is just absolutely checking out on the rest of the field. But back farther is Mark Martin. He keeps slipping back, Ned. I don't know if it's a handling problem or something else.
I don't know, Jeff, but they're passing him on the straightaway, whether they're getting a run coming off the corners and passing him or what, but he definitely is dropping back. Mark Martin, who was certainly one of the favorites coming into this race today, is having some problems right now.
Man on the move is Jarrett up there in 8th spot, and he's in some heavy traffic. There's the 32 while he's cleared out a little of it. Here he comes. Nemechek in front by 30 car lengths. Wallace, Fedewa, Keller.
And look here, Jeff Green started to make it 3 deep going down through there as they move on the inside of the 50 car. Is that Derek Cope is back out there. However, he's many laps down. We talked to him a little bit early. He's showing 14 laps down right now, but he's back out there in the Health Source car.
Jarrett in the 32. Sun coming on.
If you look a little farther back, you see Jeff Green in the 3, Ward Burton, and Todd Bodine and Mike Wallace. They've come from a long ways in this back up to the front. Todd's right now in 10th, Mike in 11th, and those boys are running really good too.
Yeah, remember, Todd spun out early there in the race. He has made a tremendous comeback up through there.
Jarrett up to 7th. And here he is closing in on Jeff Green.
There's Todd behind Ward Burton. You can see he got a tremendous run off that corner. And is he going to be able to pull off this move? We'll see who's the bravest. Yes, he does. Ward decided, hey, I better let him go. It's too early in the race to
8th.
But there's Ward back underneath him in that short straightaway. I'll tell you, what a racetrack.
Todd had to go into that corner a little bit fast when
and
he
here
when
comes
he passed
Bodine
him.
right back under him again.
Great race they got going there.
Mike Joy.
Well, Mark Martin debated coming in on that caution to take out a spring rubber. The car was loose. They decided they'd wait out a full gas stop, and it's just getting looser. That's why he's falling back. Johnny Benson got 4 tires because he said the car was too tight, had too much of a push. So Steve Byrd put 4 tires on to change the handling, and Benson's moving on up.
Well, there you see the 60, and there's a story there, and it doesn't seem to be a very positive one today for a guy who does a lot of winning on all kinds of racetracks. Mark Martin. He has been falling back into the hands of the field.
Yeah, Mark's trying to hang on to that car like Mike was saying, but I'll tell you what, he has his hands full, and he's wishing right now that the caution would come out.
Back to 16th he just dropped, Jeff.
Yeah, he'd like to get in there and make an adjustment right now. But as we all know, when things are bad, when things are tough, you just have to keep going. And Mark is one guy that will never quit. So he's going to hang on to that thing, wrestle it as long as he can. There goes Todd by Dale Jarrett.
Well, Todd got a great run off the turn, too, like he did on Ward Burton a little bit ago. His car is really coming off of that turn, and he just zipped right on by Dale Jarrett going into
Looked like
turn 3.
that run that he made at Rockingham.
Yeah.
Just pulled it up and shot him down. So Todd Bodine gets himself another spot. Credit him with 7th now. Let me review for you the top of the field. 46 laps complete. Nemechek, Wallace, Fedewa, the top 3. Jason Keller 4th, followed by Hermie Sadler, Jeff Green, Todd Bodine, Dale Jarrett to 8th, Ward Burton to 9th, Mike Wallace in 10th, Schroeder 11th, and Doug Heveron in 12th. Just pan back to it, and then show me that good second place battle. Fedewa was all over 8. Then take me right back to 57. Try to give me an idea of the front of the field. Just keep fading back, and you have to pan back or let them come up to you. But give me an idea of the order of the cars on the track. Thank you much.
Todd Bodine is rated the man on the move, man.
Yeah,
he
and
really going. Here's a battle for
when we
second.
come back, just establish for us. Oh, there it's
Battle
over.
for second.
Fedewa's done. Push off that right back to your second place. And then you want to stay, I mean, Todd Bodine is fine. What did he do on tires when he was in?
I don't know if they changed when he spun or not.
I didn't watch.
I didn't either. I saw him come back in and they tightened the right rear again. So
and they took some tape off the grill.
Look at this.
3 deep. 3 more deep. Wow.
Rectal flutter 210.
Yes.
Joe Nemechek with 44 have won a correction on that with 50 now of 150 laps complete is just pulling away from the field. Out in front has built up a big advantage over the man now in second, who is Tim Fedewa. Fedewa's just moved around Kenny Wallace. That transposes him back to 3rd spot. Jason Keller stays in 4th. Hermie Sadler is 5th. Todd Bodine 6th. Jeff Green is 7th. Dale Jarrett is 8th. Ward Burton is 9th. Mike Wallace is in 10th as we sort back through the field here to let you have an idea of where some of your favorites are running around this racetrack. But the guy that is the big surprise, Nemechek, this morning you talked to him, or he talked to you, Jeff, and he didn't sound very confident he was going to last too long out here.
No, they had him inside his transporter with some IV fluids, and you know, Joe right now is he's running fast, but it looks to me like that car is just absolutely handling perfectly. So maybe he isn't working really hard, and let's hope he can last the whole race.
And first place can make you feel a whole lot better. More on the story from Mike Joy.
Ken, I think as long as they run at speed, he's going to be okay. He's got a lot of air circulating through that car, through his helmet, and through his suit. If they have a long caution period, though, that's when the heat really starts to build up in there and when he might start to get a little woozy. His younger brother John is in the pit. He's in a fire suit but does not have his helmet on, and only intends to put it on if Joe calls for him. And so far, Joe hasn't said anything about the way he's feeling. He's just talking about that car, and right now he loves it.
So Nemechek stays up in front, moved in the Winston Cup onto his own team this year. First year as an owner driver there. We'll take a look at second and third. That's Fedewa and Kenny Wallace dropping back, and just behind Wallace comes Jason Keller. There's Jason right after him, and with him comes Todd Bodine in the 72.
He just took over 5th the last time around. He passed Hermie Sadler for that position, and Todd Bodine might have a car that's equal to Joe Nemechek's. He's just back there in traffic. Ooh, he's in some heavy traffic right there as he comes to the start-finish line. And here comes Jeff Green in the black car down on the inside.
But it's Todd Bodine on the very bottom. That car working so well, he dropped it right down on the apron, made it stick there, and gained more time. The 72 car, Todd Bodine, winner at Rockingham in that dramatic 3 across, triple wide finish, is coming with car number 57, Jason Keller, just in front of him. This is the battle for 4th. Jason Keller there, Todd Bodine going for 2 in a row, trying to take it away in that spot and go look for Nemechek, Fedewa, Wallace, 1, 2, 3. 53 laps now down.
Those fans are watching Todd Bodine. They have seen him come up through the pack. Boy, coming all the way from the rear.
And Ned, I'll tell you the big change here. They're catching Nemechek right now. Fedewa has closed. It was what, almost 4 seconds? Now it's down to 2.8. Fedewa's on a roll. I think Nemechek is being reeled in.
If Todd Bodine can get by these cars, he is definitely faster. He's not turning his lap speeds right now faster than Nemechek because he's caught up in the middle of that traffic. But the car is really coming off the turns, in turn 2 in particular. You can see how far it pulled away from Jeff Green there.
I'll tell you, the other guy that's right coming along with him is that Ward Burton in the 95, and he's so pumped up after his first Winston Cup win, he may just float that car around this racetrack.
And there he makes a move underneath Jeff Green going into turn 1, and they got slowed down a little bit off of turn 4, and that gave Ward a little run.
Now, we talked about Dale Jarrett being so good earlier. He's dropped back a little bit now. His car is not as good. He might have used those tires up coming up through the pack when he was coming up through there so good. He has dropped back to the 9th position now, got up as far as 7th.
Kenny Wallace in 3rd. That's the car 8. You just follow this. It's Grand National Racing, and it's as good as you get. A lot of folks love to see them because they run so many different tracks, a lot more short tracks than Winston Cup. And you see a lot of aggressive young drivers out here. There's not a lap when they don't have it wide open, full on the throttle. And the drivers meeting was extra long today, telling all of them to be patient, to lift, to be respectful of each other. That's pretty hard to do when you're a youngster and you've got so much vim and vinegar and you want to show what you can do. Here comes Todd Bodine down to the inside. That's Jason Keller on the outside. And Bodine fires through on the bottom, and he picks up another spot. Give him 4th. And that slots Jason Keller in 5th. Kenny Wallace stays 3rd. And he's going to have his hands full with Todd Bodine.
He's coming in a hurry on him, no doubt about that.
There Kenny moves over down the straightaway trying to break the draft. The draft is really important here at the track, and you can I did it yesterday in the truck race, tried to move low so that the 3 truck couldn't draft up on me.
Why is that? 4-corner track, why is that draft so important?
Well, these are long straightaways and a lot of speed down the straightaways. And these cars in particular with a 390 carburetor don't have a lot of horsepower. And so a little draft means a lot to these cars with the 390 carburetor. And the trucks don't have a lot of good aerodynamics, like pushing a snowplow down the racetrack. So a draft with the trucks is very important. They have a little more horsepower, but not as much aerodynamics.
Ward Burton has just moved around. Jeff Green, Ward Burton, number 95, up in the pit spot. Let's go to Dick Burton.
Well, Ken, following up on your question a little bit earlier about the condition of the racetrack in the first turn, both Mike Mclaughlin and Ken Schroeder have radioed to their crews and told them, yes, indeed, turn 1 is right now just beginning to break up. And as for Jeff Green just getting past, probably a good reason is that his brakes are heating up. Now, the drivers use an awful lot of brake getting into both turn 1 and turn 3 here at Homestead, and many of them were concerned about brakes lasting all race long.
Did you see that one? That was Ward Burton in the 95. Knocking on the door. Kenny Wallace got him turned a little. Kenny cranks it back up and keeps coming, but it opens the inside, and down comes Jeff Green for another run. Get the number 3. Moving on Wallace.
Great racing going on back through here. Joe Nemechek has walked away from the field, but from 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th on through there, some great racing.
But not walking away like he was a little earlier. More on that story shortly. We've now got 59 laps complete here in this inaugural race. After 91 miles have been completed here, the leader has been Nemechek all the way. Average speed 103, held down by 3 cautions, 11 laps, and 4 of the 43 starters have been forced to retire. Here are the drivers out of action: Tracy Leslie, Tommy Houston, Derek Cope, and Johnny Rum.
And we're beginning to see green flag pit stops. While we were away on the break, Ward Burton made a pit stop for a change of 4 tires. And here is Mike Wallace in the pits. I believe he's just getting right side tires. And the crew pushes him away and back out into action.
Mike Wallace had been running in 8th when he came onto pit road. Nemechek has pulled away in the past few moments and pulled back up. And here is Bodine and Green at it another time.
That's right. I'm not sure. I've been watching Todd here for a couple laps. It looks like he's slowing down. And Jeff Green just passed him down the straightaway. And I don't know if that means an engine problem or what. But Jeff is definitely pulling away from him quite a bit right now.
Nemechek, it seems to be the traffic pattern. If he gets near traffic, he gets caught up as long as he's got it. The long straightaway.
Well, he's being very careful. Yeah, he's being very careful through that traffic, which is what he needs to be with as fast as his race car is. He doesn't need to take any unnecessary chances.
As Nemechek stays in front, it's Tim Fedewa and Jeff Green getting into a clash for 2nd place. There's the 55, and here comes the 3 right after him, and he's got him on that short chute. On that 600-footer, Jeff Green had it planned and timed perfectly.
And Fedewa, something's gone wrong with his car. I don't know if he's run out of gas or he just pulls to the inside now and is coasting along down the backstretch. Let's see if he's able to get back around to the pits.
This is at lap 65.
And they're getting close as far as gas is concerned.
97.5 miles complete.
Yeah, they aren't going to be able to go many more laps on fuel.
Well, it was a shaky start. If you're just joining us, we had a couple of cautions in the first 2 or 3 laps. Now they've settled down and done some outstanding racing on a brand new racetrack. And one of the problems here is the very fine sand in this part of the country. And with all the construction,
here's the spin off turn 4. And caution is out as Dale Jarrett and Hermie Sadler come down pit road. They'll go on back out though and try to stay in the lead lap. They had committed themselves to come on to pit road for a green flag pit stop.
And that's Mike Mclaughlin.
And that's going to, we'll have to see what kind of a story that makes out of it. Mclaughlin is hammered in there pretty hard in the 34. Remember, he's trying to take 2nd place in the standings away from Chad Little. Little had him by 17 points going into this afternoon's event. If it ended that he picked up 17 points, it would still go to Little because it would be decided if it was a tie on number of victories. And of course, Chad's knocked off 6 this year. So the 34 going the lap down here, and it's in there strong. It took a long slide out of 4.
Well, this caution is going to be a break for Mark Martin. Mark Martin was about to go a lap down, and now he'll get to come into the pits. And let's go to the pits and Mike Joy.
Well, it's a bit of a break for Tim Fedewa. The Seminoles aren't giving a whole lot of help on the side of that car today. Fedewa was out of fuel. He will take on 4 tires and try to get back out there, but he may have gone a lap down in all this, Ken.
Yeah, I think he did, Mike, because he had coasted around. I think when the scoring comes up the next time around that he will be shown a lap down because he ran out of gas coming off of turn 2 over there and had to coast all the way around.
On the last lap that we had recorded, they still showed him in the lead lap in 26. With 28 cars in the lead lap, but the scoring is usually running about 2 laps down. So I would think that's dead on that Peter would find himself looking up from under 1. There you see Jarrett in the 32.
Who had come into the pits, had made a commitment, he and Hermie Sadler both, but when the caution came out, their spotter said, hey, caution is out, come on around, and so they didn't even stop in their pits.
But now, as you see, everyone is coming into the pits. All the leaders are coming down the pits. Nemechek, Jeff Green, Wallace, Todd, Bodine, and all the front cars are glad that caution came out. Believe me, they'd run plenty long enough. Yes. They were ready for 4 of those new Goodyear tires, believe me.
And I believe Todd Bodine is one of those that was really ready because his car, as you mentioned, seemed to be slowing there a little bit, Jeff, those last few laps. Let's go to the pits and Mike Joy.
20-year-old Brian Patty is the crew chief and the jack man. Now the relief driver for Joe is his brother John, who is the right rear tire changer. And now John comes around, hits the lug nuts on the left rear. First can of gas is in, second can is done, so the car is full of fuel in far less time than it takes to change tires. John hammers home those last few lug nuts, and Joe's away.
First time really had anybody different up in front all afternoon. Comes on this caution pit stop, which is the 4th of the day. Nemechek has had the headlines from the outset of the race. He's been up on top. Question is, can he stay there? Now we're about to find out on this restart. Ward Burton being shown in 2nd place to Mike Wallace right now.
CBS Sports coverage of the Jiffy Lube Miami 300 is sponsored by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? Smooth Busch beer and easy drinking Busch Light. Busch, the official beer of NASCAR. And by AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts.
And welcome back to the Homestead Motorsports Complex. First major race. The NASCAR Busch Grand National competitors completing their 1995 season at the track, which it will all begin in 1996 for the Super Trucks. They'll be here March the 17th, and that ought to be an event. Of course, the Grand National cars, they get a chance to do liftoff down there in Daytona the day before the 500. More about that later. Let's go to Dick Burton.
Lots of drama on pit road right now, Ken. Magic Shoes Mike Mclaughlin sits here, his front end all torn up. Recall, Mclaughlin came into today's race only 17 points out of second to Chad Little. Chad had problems earlier. He came in 58 points up on Jeff Green. Green has had no problems at all. The nose on this car, as you can see, is all torn up. Crew chief Clyde McLeod is the man right in the front. He is directing repairs. No matter what, the aerodynamics are absolutely gone on the number 34. He will have a tough time for the rest of the day.
This caution may be extended. As we understand, those patches that were put in several months ago, they may be lifted in a couple of areas, and they want to take a real hard look around the track. As the field is set, showing 70 laps complete, John Benson is in the lead. Phil Parsons is in 2nd. Jeff Fuller is in 3rd. Michael Waltrip 4th. Jeff Purvis 5th. Joe Nemechek 6th. Green 7th. That's Jeff Green. Kenny Wallace 8th. Schroeder 9th. Doug Heveron is in the 10th slot, and they're going to take a little extended time in this caution period. Now, just in front of those leaders are cars that are trying to gain a lap back. Fedewa is on the tail end of that lap. Also in there is Grissom and Ward Burton trying to make up a lap. So it's going to be a double file frolic when we get going here again.
Now, Ward Burton had made a green flag pit stop, he and Mike Wallace both, and Todd Bodine is going behind the wall. His car, one of the fastest out there. He came in, made a pit stop during this caution, but right now he's behind the wall.
He was the one that was coming on in those last 20 laps, just ripping through the field. And the hood is up on the Todd Bodine car. Let's go to Mike Joy.
One reason Johnny Benson is in the lead is because Steve Byrd took those 4 tires earlier at lap 34 to tighten the car up. So this time he only needed 2 tires and thus gets track position and the lead. Benson has vaulted from Rookie of the Year to Series Champion in only 2 years here on the Grand National Circuit. He is really getting used to advancing quickly in the forefront of this sport. Johnny Benson's 2 victories, Atlanta and here at Hickory, tell a small part of the story of his championship year. 12 top 5 finishes, 18 top 10s in 25 races, and only 1 race failed to finish. But like this 3-wide run to the checkered flag at Rockingham with Mike Wallace and Todd Bodine, Benson and crew chief Steve Byrd raced every lap to win and let the points fall where they may.
You definitely got to have some racing luck. You got to have a good car, got to have good engines, and we have all that. I tell you, we just did the best we could all year, and I believe that there was a couple, 2-3 races that it's very possible we should have won, but we didn't. But that's all, you know, part of the program. But the guys are really good, they're real consistent, and that's what paid off for us.
In just 2 years here, Benson's been Rookie of the Year and now champion. But he's moving on again, this time to Winston Cup.
That's going to be tough. You know, this will be the 3rd time that I've been a rookie in 6 years, so that's going to be tough. The learning curve is going to be pretty steep. Trying to learn everybody on the team there at Bahari Racing. We're really looking forward to it. It's going to be a great year. I hope everything goes as good as it has in the Busch Car National, but it's pretty stout competition over there. We're just going to do the best we can.
Well, so far, Johnny Benson has won 2 major championships, ASA and Busch, and his competitors are glad he hasn't stuck around another year to defend either one. He moves up to Winston Cup. Here's Dick Berggren.
Well, Todd Bodine's car sits behind the wall. Todd Bodine, exhausted, sits in the garage, sweat pouring off him. Todd, what has happened here?
Well, I started off after that last restart, my fresh air vent fell off. I had nothing to breathe but was in the car and got pretty hot. I'm all right now, but we're not sure. Something in the motor. It wasn't a rocker arm or something on one side or the other because Robert said it was out both sides of the pipes. It's a darn shame, I tell you. We had the car to beat, I believe. I got in the top 5 there and started riding, just picking off one at a time. And this whole Detroit Gasket crew, Mr. Parker, everybody involved in this, they got so much to look forward to next year. They got a great young driver, good team, new crew chief, Vic Kangas, coming aboard. And I got to say hello to my mother-in-law. She's in Connecticut, recuperating from a mild heart attack. Love you, Ma. See you soon.
Ken Squire.
Todd Bodine, who gave these folks here in their inaugural race in this first major event some great moments.
Mike Dillon will go in the 72 car next year.
And we'll be back with more of the Jiffy Lube Miami 300 in a moment. We're under caution and staying under caution. Looks like they've been blowing off these corners just to make sure that if anything has come up, it's not going to get into things and make marbles right down on the bottom of the racetrack. So that looks like it's pretty well done, and we may get well, they've got this truck coming back down the main straightaway at the present time. You know, these drivers, all of them, doesn't matter what division you're in, you all get a chance to make all that big money, like Jeff Bodine here doing those commercials. And racing on the Grand National Circuit is not all racing. They've been tapping the brakes too much.
They've been hitting too many walls too much.
That's right. Hello, walls. Patty Muiz did not make the field for today's race. And her husband has been out here giving it a good go this afternoon. Alton Sawyer, who is being shown in 19th position, and the other half of that commercial effort there, Michael Waltrip in the number 30. He is running in 5th position. By the way, Alton, happy birthday. Alton Sawyer is, how old is he today? Anybody heard? 36? Everybody's 36.
Okay. Too darn young.
Bodine's been 36. I'd hate to have been hanging since you started to be 36.
He's too darn young, but looks like they're coming down for the green flag right now.
All right,
Alton Sawyer.
We get ready to go with now 75 laps complete. Strange.
And Ward Burton
start.
right in front of the leader. He and Tim Fiedel both are right in front of the leader. They're on the tail end of the lead lap, and Mike Wallace there as well. No, I don't know if he's more than 1 lap down or not, but anyway, they're out in front of the leader. The leader is Johnny Benson in car number 74. He's back about 5th or 6th in line there. There you see him in the red and yellow number 74 car.
By the lineup, we would have Benson, Parsons, Fuller, Waltrip, the top 4 now, and Jeff Purvis back into 5th. Waltrip making a move. Nemechek 6th, Green in 7th, Kenny Wallace in 8th, and we'll see how this shakes out.
And they are still side by side. They went through turn 1 and 2 side by side down the back straightaway, and look at this. They're still side by side, but there goes Ward underneath, along with Jason Keller.
And Phil Parsons took the lead. Got around Johnny Benson. Phil Parsons is in the lead in the Luxair car number 99. Now he's got all those lap cars in front of him. He's coming down on the inside of Mike Wallace, coming down into turn 1. Let's see if he can make that stick. Wallace, no, shut the door on him.
Phil Parsons in that white number 99. That was one of the cars that's come all the way from the rear today. Had trouble out here in the practice period. Bent the car up. Had to go to a backup car in the Luxair machine. Johnny Benson giving you these pictures of the first place car on the field at the present time. Parsons, who had that tremendous run a couple of years back at Charlotte and won in the 300. Said it was one of the most important races of his career.
This shot here shows you how smooth this track is. You don't see the back of Parsons' car bouncing up and down or jumping around. This track is extremely smooth. It should be. It's brand new.
Jeff, let's take a look as we go in here and look at this. Well, you know, he's covered it up pretty well. He moved right into the back of Phil Parsons. I wonder if we could see anything of that seam that is talked about. And they've sent a crew out here. They didn't get anybody off those trucks. So they probably used the blowers to push some stuff back and get some marbles out of there.
Well, on any new surface like this one, with this type of race, this type of weather, the heat, this number of cars, you're going to wear the asphalt down a little bit. You're going to wear some asphalt off the track, and that's probably what's happening out there. It doesn't look like the patches have torn up, but it just could be the track is just wearing off just a little bit. Great pictures of this battle for the lead.
Johnny Benson hanging right in. See him right there behind the 99. There's the lap car, many laps down, and Chad Little, who just joined us. He had trouble. It was mechanical. McLaughlin, the guy trying to take the points away from him, he had trouble. Slapped the wall hard as they continue to battle for second. Johnny Benson is the champion this year in Grand National Racing. There's the 95, Burton, and there's Fidewas, number 55. And what a day he's having in his last ride for Ray and Diane Witt. Ooh, trying to get Mike Wallace to move over, and Benson takes advantage of it.
3 abreast. They come down to the start-finish line.
That's just what Mike Joy and Kenny Wallace were talking about at the outset. Those guys up there, they had to lift a little, and Benson had the hole on the inside, and away he went back into the lead. Parsons into second. That'll drop Mike Waltrip, or drive Mike Waltrip up to third.
And there's Joe Nemechek. You saw him down on the inside. There's Todd Bodine, goes back out into the action. Todd several laps down, though, after having whatever go wrong in the engine of his Chevrolet. And there's Nemechek going by Mike Wallace. Now, Mike Wallace is a lap down now. He had made a green flag pit stop not long before the caution came out. Tried to stay out in front of the leaders, but couldn't quite do it. A couple of other cars have stayed out there so far, and they are Tim Fidewa and Ward Burton. They've driven on away from the leaders.
There's Jeff Fuller, just made the pass on Wallace, and he's running in 5th place. He has a great run going.
Got a complete running order after 79 laps have been completed. We're at lap 81 of this 200 lap event this afternoon. Here at the Homestead Motorsports Park, brand new $50 million facility. You're getting a chance to sit in and watch it for the first time. Hope you're enjoying it. It's here in the greater Miami area.
Ooh, and there's
we got trouble. Got
Jeff
a spinner in 3.
Going into turn 3.
Several other cars getting involved too.
It's Greg Sachs. And just on the other side of it, Steve Reeves is involved, and I think you're going to find Rodney Combs is in it.
He indeed was.
That was a pretty hard leg by Green. Looked like he got on the outside going in that corner and just got into loose stuff and lost the car.
The Earnhardt car, fore and aft, front and rear, bent.
Now he was in position to move all the way up to second in the points after those two in front of him, Chad Little and Mike Mclaughlin, had problems here today.
Ooh, Buckshot Jones.
Yeah, damage to his Ford.
5-car skirmish in turn number 3 has brought out the 4th caution of the day. 5th caution of the day, number 5. Buckshot Jones' car just coming to rest after it was running a 19 spot. Replay, Doug Heveron on the outside in the 35.
And Green gets in there in front of him, maybe just a little bit too hard. I don't believe they made contact, Jeff. It didn't look like they did.
No, it looked like either Hevron came down or Green went up, and they caught the nose of Hevron's car, caught the tail of Green's, and it turned him out towards the wall. And that isn't the way you turn going into a corner. You have to turn the other way. And it put him up in the loose stuff. Then he lost the car, couldn't save it.
82 down, and Jeff Green is out. That means that Fedewa and Ward have both made up their lap, Ned.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, Fedewa and Ward are back up in that lead lap when we resume racing here at the Homestead Motorsports Park in the Jiffy Lube Miami 300.
Under caution, several drivers looking for relief. Joe Nemechek came in. Derek Cope was standing by, but Nemechek took on fuel only and took off. Not the case in the Larry Pearson pit. Dick Berggren.
Well, Larry Pearson's crew ran all the way to the other end of the garage area and found Johnny Rumley, who had just dropped out of the race a few laps earlier, and said, Johnny, we need you. They got him down here. They came down on a full-bore run. Pearson, who just turned 40 years old on Thursday, reported feeling dizzy in the car. His uniform is loaded with perspiration. Rumley now being bolted into this car. You can see the tire marks on the left side where they have had contact with somebody. It is not hot temperature-wise, but it sure feels hot today. There isn't a breeze at all at Homestead Motorsport Complex.
Larry Pearson with the helmet off there. After 126 miles, calls it a day, and we understand several other drivers are having trouble with the heat and humidity here at the Greater Miami Homestead Motorsports Complex. And there goes Johnny Rumley to work.
Pearson was running in the 8th position. A lot of humidity here today. I expect that has something to do with the problems that some of them are having.
Take a look. Here's the number 20 car, and Dennis Setzer is at the keyboard of that machine this afternoon, currently running in 24th position and carrying the colors and the honors for Dick Moroso in his last performance in Grand National Racing.
Now you're talking about Dick Moroso as far as
the car owner, and we have Setzer out there driving it. This inaugural Jiffy Lube Miami 300 will mark the final go-around for Dick Moroso, car owner, legendary car owner. Dick's career has been filled with a lot of success, but has also seen more than its share of tragedy. Ned Jarrett sat down with the Dick Moroso yesterday to hear his story of a father and son.
As race fans know, his son Rob Moroso died tragically in a highway accident 5 years ago. Rob was a rising star in NASCAR. His death has left a void which has taken his father years to understand.
I think after Rob's accident, I was just in shock, and I just continued, I think, out of reflex. And it took years, you know, before I really kind of looked at the big picture and looked at what I was doing, and you know, just made the decision.
In 1989, at the age of 20, Rob won the NASCAR Busch Grand National Championship. The very next year, he won Rookie of the Year honors in the Winston Cup Series. Who knows how far this father-son duo might have gone?
I think we might have been able to come close to winning the Winston Cup Championship by now with Rob, or maybe winning it, who knows. But I think we've been very successful, and would be a totally different ball game, totally different. My heart definitely went out of racing. You know, we were so successful, and you know, I thought maybe I could find something else that would fill the void in racing, but it just hasn't happened. You know, we've been largely unsuccessful, had some good runs, we've won some races, but nothing like before. I mean, you know, in '89, Rob won the championship, he won Charlotte twice, he sat in the pole 7 times, and you know, it's like a whole different world. I mean, we've never even come close to that kind of success, and I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but it's just too difficult. I mean, it's just too difficult. It's killing me.
Today marking the final performance for Moroso Racing on the NASCAR circuit. We'll be back with more from Homestead, Florida in a moment.
Two-time Grand National champion Larry Pearson has caught his breath. He's out of the car and on his feet. What happened to you in that car?
I don't know. Tommy Houston and I got together earlier in the race. Knocked the crush panel out of the left rear. and I started getting real dizzy. My left arm started going to sleep, and we got a really, really good car today. I just taking my time coming up through there. The guys we had a good pit stop just now, and put me in a good position.
How about turn one? What does turn one look like in terms of the breakup of the track, Larry?
Well, I mean, we came down here and tested, and the track was in good shape, and we ran a lot of practice, and the track was in good shape. And for some reason today, it's coming up really, really bad in turn one, right in the groove where you need to put your right side tires, and a lot of marbles out there. They blew off the track, and that helped a lot, you know, for the short time that we ran. But, you know, turn one's my problem right now.
Let's go to Mike Joy.
Bit of trouble in Jeff Purvis's pit. Johnny Allen is the right tire changer, and he was working underneath the car. They had it on jack stands. They set it down. He twisted up his ankle, and the exhaust pipe came down on the back of his fire suit. Gave him just a little bit of first-degree burn on his back. As you can see, he's limping a little bit, but he's okay and going to hang in the game. Purvis came back into the pits, and they were all attending to Johnny and get the rescue crews over here. There was nobody to service the car, so they sent Jeff back out. He's back out there, I believe, at the tail end of the lead lap. Otherwise, everything now here is okay.
As we get set to resume in a lap, Johnny Benson Jr. will be on the point. Saturday, the CBS Sports Show presents Superstars of Figure Skating at the Riders Ladies Skating Championship. You'll have Oksana Bayul, you'll have Katarina Witt, Elaine Zayak, Elizabeth Manley. They're among the folks competing. Plus, you'll have all the scores and highlights on college football. That's all Saturday on the show. What a show we have here this afternoon for you at the brand new Homestead Motorsports Park.
Can we pronounce that Katarina Witt where I come from?
What did I say?
What did you say?
I don't know. Katarina. Did I really?
I don't know. I don't know. I tell you, I was making fun of my pronunciation, not yours, really.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we're ready to go racing here. Finally, again.
One more time. 5 cautions, 28 laps thus far in the day as we come back to green, with Benson leading, Phil Parsons second, Nemechek in third, Jeff Fuller in fourth, Ken Schroeder fifth, Jason Keller in the 6th position coming down to the stripe. Going 7th is Kenny Wallace. Doug Heveron is in 8th, and Hermie Sadler in 9th, with Dale Jarrett in 10th.
And Mike Wallace up there trying to get back in the lead lap, but he couldn't do it. He was on the outside going into turn 1, and you can see the cars go by, and he's in the green and black car that the cars are passing coming off of turn 2.
Faded back 2 spots. Benson with a championship already sewed up, just going for it in his final Grand National performance before he step up to the Winston Cup ranks. Ooh, look at Schroeder.
A little heavy here, a little tight there.
Kenny Schroeder's making a move on Mike Wallace, just went by Jeff Fuller.
Schroeder and 3 wide. Ooh.
Kenny Wallace coming down on the inside. And who's that? Jason Keller caught up on the outside in car number 57. Yeah, he was lucky to get out of that thing.
On these restarts, after they blow the track like they've been doing, it still is a little hairy, a little slippery. They do a good job blowing it off and blow everything they can, but they still leave some sand, some loose stuff. And boy, it's just the white knuckle time on these restarts before that track cleans up.
Nemechek into 2nd spot. Benson up in front. Phil Parsons back in 3rd. Schroeder 4th. Kenny Wallace 5th. Doug Heveron. Boy, he is so overdue for a win. Stays right in the top of this thing.
There's Kenny Wallace passing Ken Schroeder. Schroeder in the car number 52, Wallace in the car number 8.
Jeff, if you really get it planned and you have that setup working going into the corner, you can just blow them off, take a couple at a time out here.
It's a momentum racetrack. If you keep your momentum up through the corner and you can get the gas off, you're going to make some passes down these long straightaways. And that's what we've been seeing. The guy that gets through the corner and off the corner the best, he makes the passes and he moves to the front. And right now, Kenny Wallace is on a move. He's whipping that red dog and trying to get it up front and catch Benson. Johnny's running really good right now, and he's got about a 10-car length lead on Joe Nemechek. That's pretty impressive.
Jason Keller, he's making a couple of moves, getting himself up through. And Mike Joy has this story.
Well, here's the back end of Jeff Green's car. Unfortunately, that's not the badly damaged part. Most all the damage is up here around at the front end where the crew is taking things apart. Jeff, what happened?
I guess a payback, Mike. I don't know. Me and the 35 got together at Rockingham, and I was past him. He wanted to turn before I did, turn me into the wall, but one of them days. What do you say? Had a shot at another good run, and not today.
Going to cost you some money, not just today, but in the points as well.
Yeah, we had a shot at moving up, but now I guess we're going to move back. What do you say? They try to race 3 or 4 wide.
Got a crash up here in turn number 2.
Rich Bickle down on the inside on the car number 54. I don't know who that is up on the outside.
Schroeder.
Kenny Schroeder. Okay.
Schroeder's 52. Back end off that one. Ken Schroeder.
Just as things are looking good, things can turn bad. And Kenny was looking really good. He'd moved himself right up to the front, and now he stands sitting against the outside wall off of turn 2. It looks like Rich Bickle had a little damage to the front of his car.
9th place.
He's still moving. Poor Kenny isn't moving though, and he's pretty darn upset.
Well, his car's not, but he is, Jeff. We can see him through the windshield there that he is moving around.
Yeah, he's fine, taking his helmet off.
This is lap 95. On lap 95, and they've got the ambulance and everything out there for him. Taking a really hard lick as he came off turn number 2. Looking at his foot again.
Well, you see what he's doing there, Kenny has a heat shield. And I think Kenny's the one that came up with these things. They Velcro onto each of your feet. If you want to wear them on both feet, they go on your heel area, and they just a little more insulation on that floorboard to keep the heat off from burning up your heel or your feet. And they really work well. And today, these fellas need all the insulation they can get out there. It's pretty hot and humid, and with the side windows on the passenger side, these cars are real hot.
There's the Schroeder crew watching on television. Not happy about this one.
They have a television monitor in each of the garage stalls here at the Homestead Motorsports Complex. They put a lot of thought into everything.
A couple
here.
of them. You get 4 cars in the stall and 120 cars this thing can hold. Let's take a look at what happened here, Ned.
They were racing pretty close up there for about the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th positions. And there we see Schroeder shoot out to the outside and Bickle down to the inside. And other cars coming through the middle. Now, what caused him to shoot out there, we can't tell if he got tagged coming off the turn or exactly what happened.
From that angle, it was pretty difficult to tell what happened. And again, that doesn't show us exactly what happened.
And there's Bickle. I don't know, I guess had tried to cut left as he came off of there, and his back end of his car just got away.
Look at the fuel coming out of that car of Schroeder's. Boy, we're very lucky. Kenny's very lucky we didn't have a fire right then. It was just spraying out of the car, out the overflow, and you can see how hard he hit the wall. The back of that car just flattened out, and it definitely smashed the fuel cell way up into the rear differential area.
Sight you rarely see, a ruptured fuel cell and just flowing out there over turn 2, and fortunately it didn't catch on anything and get that thing on fire. Going in to check out Ken Schroeder, we saw him walk away from this, the 6th caution of the afternoon here at Homestead.
Kenny Schroeder, what happened back there?
Someone got underneath me going into 1, and you get shuffled out of line here, and I was trying to get back in line. Somebody must have had their front end up in there.
You okay?
Yeah, just the old car.
He's had a bunch of hard licks this year.
That's how hard. That's more than just the rear clip.
That is an indication of how fast these cars are going here at the Speedway. You get used to them going around these corners and around the track. They don't look like they're going fast, but that's a hard lick, and that comes from some speed.
That was too bad. It was hard to tell in the shot we had there exactly who might have gotten him, but Rich Bickle did spin down to the inside. Now, whether that caused him, if he's the one that maybe touched Schroeder and caused Rich to get out of shape as well, it makes sense that might be what happened. There were a lot of cars, about 6 or 8 of them, that were running very tight in there from about 3rd or 4th back through 10th place.
And one problem here at this track is these short straightaways. If somebody does get up underneath you, it's really hard to see that. And like Kenny said, somebody might have got there. He tried to get low and didn't see him, and they made some contact. It's hard to check the mirror in that short time period down that short straightaway, but it's hard to see inside of your car to see if somebody is in that position.
Quickly to Mike Joy.
Up on the base Motorsports War Wagon is Steve Byrd, who was crew chief for young Rob Moroso and who's guided Johnny Benson to this championship. Steve, nobody pitted under this caution. Why not?
Well, I'll tell you what, we found out something. We ain't putting no new tires on. New tires are too tight, and the more laps we get on them, the faster we go, you know. So we're just going to pit here for gas here sometime to go the rest of the way, but we're looking good, and I want to say hi to all the guys up at Henry J's. I know you're watching, guys. We'll see when we get home.
His man out in front, Johnny Benson, as we get back underway, and we're at the halfway mark within a lap, I believe. Johnny Benson in front, Nemechek in second, Phil Parsons third, Wallace fourth, Sadler. That's then Keller, Heveron, Jarrett eighth, David Green ninth, and Elton Sawyer in 10th, with a total of 22 cars running this lead lap, coming to the halfway mark in the Jiffy Lube Miami 300. John Benson up in front. Grand Rapids, Michigan star, looking good right now out of turn 4. Here's Nemechek that's set on the pole. Whatever's ailed him for the past 3 days seems to be cured. He's looking strong.
There's Mike Wallace in the car number 90. Mike came in and got some tires during this caution, hoping that before he was not able to get back in the lead lap. He started up front there again, and right now working on Nemechek. He might have a little bit faster car. Those new tires might be working on his car. There he goes down on the inside of him. Remember, Mike Wallace in the car number 90. He is 1 lap down. He made a green flag pit stop a while back, and a caution came out a little bit later. Everybody else got to come in under caution, and so he's been fighting, trying to get back in that lead lap, but he's got to pass Benson before he gets back in the lead lap.
Coming to halfway. Cross flags are out. Halfway home in the Miami Jiffy Lube 300. Benson in first, 90 trying to make up a lap. Mike Wallace, Nemechek continuing in second spot. Kenny Wallace holds on to third. Wild racing as they're all bunched up again. Track position counts for everything. You want to be quick in the pits on this 1.5 miles.
These fellas might not like the corners here, or might be complaining a little bit about the corners, but they're sure using those straightaways. They're going 2, 3, even 4 wide sometimes, and they're having a ball down these long straightaways.
And so are the fans. They get this spectacular action because you've got to get back in, and you saw what happened to Schroeder when he didn't.
The fans are on their feet. They haven't sat down all day. I don't know if it's because the darn seats are too hot from the sun, or they're just excited about the race. I tell you.
6 of 25 races this year have been won. 6 of 25 at the halfway. Benson's the man in front right now, and boy, he sure would like another chunk of a victory to finish this season up as he moves on. He clinched the title at Rockingham from Chad Littlegun into the back of Brian Donnelly's car and crashed. Benson was third in that event. Spectacular finish on that one.
And he's running really good, and Mike Wallace with those new tires is not able to catch him. Actually, Johnny's pulled away a little bit, and I guess Steve Byrd is right. The new tires might be a little too tight. The old tires are a little quicker.
Well, I know practically everybody, in fact, everyone that I saw in qualifying here on Friday and yesterday, Jeff, they were qualifying on scuff tires. The new tires, it just took them a little bit of time to come in.
That's right. You can see right there that Johnny's pulling away from Mike and Kenny Wallace, both. But there's still action behind him. There's Dale Jarrett, Joe Nemechek, Doug Heveron's up in there.
Yeah, Heveron and Jarrett, they've been having a war. They've swapped that back and forth a couple of times. There you see the interval. You look back to Kenny Wallace. Now here comes third place man Phil Parsons. Right with him comes Hermie Sadler in fourth, followed by Jason Keller. And then you see Heveron, he's next. Nemechek in this thing big time, and Dale Jarrett. David Green is up tonight. Remember, he had to go to the rear of the field, crashed the car in practice, so he had to roll out to second, number 44, and he's rolled it up into ninth position right now with Elton Sawyer in 10th. And Tim Fedewa, he's not giving up in his last performance for the racing team he's been with over the last 2 years. Fedewa in 11th, won at Nazareth.
He'll be going to a different team next year, the Doug Taylor team that Patty Louise has been driving for.
Kenny
Patty
Wallace
will start her own team.
Is she really?
Yeah.
She had her own team in IMSA racing, and then she had her own team briefly in Grand National.
Yep, she's going to do it now full time next year.
Joe Nemechek has dropped from second to 7th. Nemechek falling back a bit here from 2nd to 7th. Interval between 1st and 2nd. You saw it there. Benson versus Kenny Wallace. And they say that we're getting a report from one of the track spotters that Nemechek may be having trouble with a tire. The left front may be giving him trouble. What do you think, Jeff?
Well,
I think I'd want to be in. The tire getting a little loose on air.
Yeah, Joe's a good enough driver. He could feel what's going on. There's Jarrett sticking his nose underneath him, and that short straightaway.
And Green coming with him. That's 7th, 8th, and 9th right there on your screen. And down to the bottom comes Fedewa. Holy
well, he got around. That's exactly what Kenny Wallace tried to point out. When somebody has to back off, then you get a run going. David Green just backed out of it. David has an awfully good car, and he's driving a very smart race. I've seen him several times today back out of situations that could have really gotten him in trouble.
Exciting racing for this inaugural event for Grand National Cars at the new Homestead Motorsports Complex. It's first day of the major race. It's the grand finale to the Grand National Series of 1995. And all begins again in Daytona come February with the traditional race the day before the Great American Race, the Daytona 500. Here's Nemechek in the 87, who checked out in the first 50, 60 laps of this thing. He couldn't be found. He had him covered by 4 to 5 seconds.
I just think the set of tires that he has on now, Ken, is just not working on that race car nearly as good as the set he had on at the beginning of the race.
Hey guys, what makes John Benson so good? He hasn't won that many races this year compared to Chad Little. He's got himself a real opportunity next year. Rookie of the Year last year, champion this year. Did the same thing in the ASA. Rookie of the Year the first year, ASA champion the next. What is it with this guy?
Well, obviously he has a lot of driving talent, but he also has the smarts to go with it. You have to be a smart driver in Busch Grand National and Winston Cup to be successful, and Johnny is that. And along with all of that, you need good equipment, and he does have very, very good equipment, good people working on the equipment. And right now, he's being hounded by that dog car, Kenny Wallace, is catching Johnny Benson.
Fedewa is also clambering up through the field. What a run he's making here. And that there you see the 99 of Parsons making a run.
Jason Keller just moved around Parsons and took over the 3rd place.
That puts Parsons to 4th. Doug Heveron stays 5th. Sadler 6th. Nemechek 7th. Fedewa 8th. Dale Jarrett to 9th. David Green 10th. All right, folks, here's your chance to be the honorary starter. Here's your opportunity, fans, to be the honorary starter of next year's Busch Clash at the Daytona International Speedway in February. Get your pencil handy. In addition to waving the green flag, your grand prize trip down to Daytona for the Busch Clash will include round-trip airfare, hotel accommodations, ground transportation, and 2 passes to the Busch Race Party that precedes the event. Now, the complete rules were showed to you earlier, but to enter, all you have to do is send a postcard with your name, address, age, and the name of Johnny Benson, the halfway leader of today's Miami 300, and you mail it to Miami 300 Sweepstakes, MRN Radio, Post Office Box 2888, Daytona Beach, Florida 32115. That's 32115. Or you can enter on CBSI on the net. CBS is home on the internet, World Wide Web, and good luck in that random draw. So we know how 2 fans are going to get to Daytona. The big question is the man without a country, the man without the sponsor here on our left. How's Bodine going to get to Daytona next year? Anything on the horizon for you?
Well, I might be asking you for a loan, but no, we're talking to a lot of folks about sponsorship. We haven't secured anything yet. You know, we have a great super truck program, and of course the Winston Cup car team. And you know, we've proven that we're front runners. We can win, and we're very confident we're going to end up with a sponsorship. But right now, anyone listening, give us a call.
Oh, come on. Yeah, that's right. Westchester County. Well, anyway, here we are with Benson out in front, Kenny Wallace. And so I'll tell you, you knocked their socks off here yesterday with that show you put on in that truck. That was some kind of fun. And also yesterday, the Dash Series completed their season, and I mean, they really completed it. They did it to the nines. We'll show you some of the action from that before this afternoon's over and how that was resolved. And it wasn't resolved until a good half hour after the event. Number 43 is back on pit road. Rodney Combs is in. Let me review for you again. You see the leader coming by. Benson, Wallace right there tagging along. Jason Keller third, Parsons fourth, Doug Heveron fifth, Hermie Sadler sixth, and Nemechek in seventh. Dick Berggren has this story for us.
Well, they're deciding in pit number 34 what they're going to do. They're going to bring Mclaughlin in and try to fix the nose of his car. We tried for a moment there to pick up what Clyde McLeod was telling everybody to do. They are delineating responsibility so that everybody will know exactly what his job is. Recall, McLaughlin came into this race in a severe points race to try to finish up front, and you can see the level of intensity behind pit road.
He is running 8 laps down in 29th position. There you see 40-year-old Mike McLaughlin. Waterloo, New York. Had a great run in the championship series this year. Got himself a win. Came out of the modified ranks. National champion there. And very happy to be back in Grand National for the next couple of seasons with the same sponsorship that he's carrying on his flanks today. Here's the 8. Kenny Wallace closing in on Benson in a battle for the lead. This at lap 114.
And Benson has been out there quite a while since he made a pit stop. Most of the others stopped after that, and Benson didn't. He stopped in an earlier caution. He'll have to take on some fuel after a while, but I believe his crew chief, Steve Byrd, said they could do it in just one more pit stop, and all they would do was just take on fuel. They liked the tires they got on, but after they see that number 8 coming up in the rearview mirror, they might well have second thoughts. We'll see. But
looks to me like Johnny has an advantage in certain parts of the track where Kenny at this end of the track seems to be a little better than Johnny.
They've got him covered. They've got the entire field.
Oh yeah, they've driven
away.
away.
Their hand right now. They've driven away. The interval is standing at 5 8/10 seconds between second place Wallace and the third place driver Jason Kelly in the Jiffy Lube Miami 300. Give you a race summary. After 175.5 miles, 117 laps, 3 late changes, 3 leaders. That doesn't tell the story, though. It's been wild. Average speed way down because of 6 cautions covering 32 laps, and 10 of the 43 starters have found themselves back in the garage area before this part of the race. Taking a look at the retirees, there you see Leslie, Houston, Cope, Rumley, Bound, Grissom, Jones, Green, all out of this event, and there's more to come. Sachs is gone. Schroeder in this big crash recently, which was wreck number 6. And while we were away, we had a change of leadership out here. There you see Benson of the 74 trailing Chad Little many laps down after he had some electrical problems earlier, and up the outside. Thank you, 3 wide. Kenny Wallace scoots into the lead.
Then down to the inside with Chad Little going into turn 3. Chad wasn't expecting that, I don't believe, and they almost had a little contact, but they made it through there.
And that's what's got this sold-out grandstand as we come to you live once again with 120 laps complete, standing up and cheering this afternoon. A lot of intensive battles around this 1.5 miles. Doesn't get much more intensive than that. Johnny Benson's radio is on in case we hear anything there. That'll be the spotter, crew chief, talking to Johnny Benson. I tell you, this is a spotter's track, isn't it? You look at this thing and you watch how they have to run and back off and look out for each other around here, Ned.
Well, the spotters really has to be on their toes here. There's no doubt about that. Of course, they do it every racetrack. It's another set of eyes for the drivers and for the fans that might not know what we're talking about when we say spotters. There is an individual that's up on top, as high up above us here. As a matter of fact, we're very high here in the tower, but the spotters are up higher. They can see all the way around this racetrack, and they keep their eyes glued ahead of their driver, and when he's in traffic, they tell him when he is clear of a car that he might be passing or a car that might be passing him. And so it's really another set of eyes for the driver out there, and it's a great safety measure.
First and second. Benson just lets him go for a moment. He knows there's still some distance to be covered. There's no sense getting flustered right now. Here's Mike.
Earlier, Joe Nemechek had radioed in. You reported he thought he might have a left front tire going down. That was not the case. He later called in. He says, I think the motor's going flat. What the crew has determined is that's the sound of a driver who is not as dominant as he was the first half of the race. They're pulling a very tall gear in that car, so he doesn't get the acceleration off the corner he would want, and the car is just not that strong relative to the rest of the field as it was earlier. Now, as for pit stops, Johnny Benson, who was leading until a moment ago, says about 20 laps, and they'll be in under the green flag for a routine pit stop. Dick Berggren?
Well, Mike, it's all smiles in Kenny Wallace pit right now. He is on the same set of tires and the same load of fuel that he took on lap 73. Crew chief Jim Murray says this new set of tires fits us just fine. And you'll recall earlier Benson's crew chief said he didn't want to go with new tires. Wallace crew does. They will change to brand new tires next time out. Quick story on the car. Kenny Wallace has won one race in 1995. Richmond won it in this car.
Out in front by a car length with 124 in the record book this afternoon. 200 laps to make the distance, 300 miles to be covered, 6 cautions. Many thought there would be more cautions than this. This might set a record with these 4 90-degree turns.
Well, we've had a good number already, but they're still running good lap speeds, 130.6, and the fastest qualifying speed was about 130, almost 135 miles an hour. So they're still maintaining a good lap speed. Jason Keller sitting out there running in 3rd place. He is 7 6/10 seconds behind the leaders, and he's another 6 or so seconds ahead of the 4th place.
We got a spin crash turn. That's Parsons, his 2nd car that's been used up here at Homestead. Phil Parsons. Lux there, number 66.
No.
Correction, I take that back.
That is
66,
Johnny Chapman.
Johnny
Chapman in
not the 99, but the 66.
And he was being lapped by Kenny Wallace and Johnny Benson, and got up in loose stuff. They got underneath him through that corner, and he just got loose stuff and slammed up against the wall.
Caution number 7 of the day.
Chapman will be driving the car number 55 next year that Tim Fedewa is driving with the college support of various NC State College for one. They had a unique sponsorship deal there. The college don't pay money, but they get the rights to sell paraphernalia is the way that I understand it, and that's where the funding comes from.
They better sell a lot of that stuff.
There's a new opportunity for you.
It takes a lot of funding to run these cars.
Okay, take another
a replay
look
at Johnny Chapman.
And you can see he was way up in the loose stuff as the leaders went by down on the inside, as Jeff pointed out, and he got his right wheels up into the loose stuff. There he is coming off the turn, and boy, once he got into that gravel, the loose stuff up on the high side of the track, he slams into the wall, and it's like that's it for him.
Draws you in like a magnet. Johnny Chapman out of it. This comes at lap 124 in the event. We'll be back with more. Under caution for the 7th time today here at the new Homestead Motorsports Complex in the greater Miami area. All the leaders were in at lap 125, 75 laps remaining in the event. Questionable as to whether or not they can get home, Mike.
It is, Ken. Everyone at this end of pit road took on 4 tires and a load of fuel, but none of the crew chiefs I spoke to briefly said they could make 75 laps on 1 tank unless they had an awful lot of caution flags, in which case they'd pit again. So I don't think they can go from here. Dick Berggren?
Well, a little bit of drama in Kenny Wallace pit, Mike. He took only 2 tires and a load of fuel, and his crew chief Jim Murray said it is very questionable as to whether they can make it or not. They're within between 2 and 5 laps of getting it done.
All the leaders pitted except Fedewa. Now he is in the lead with Wallace in 2nd, Terry Labonte in 3rd as the battle scarred number 43 of Rodney Combs comes by. More from the Jiffy Lube Miami 300 after this.
You see Derek Cope getting strapped into Joe Nemechek's car. I think they'll be able to do this without losing a lap. As we told you very early in the event, riding around under the long caution periods is when things would get really warm inside the race car. Joe, how are you?
Just on fire. I'm just totally wore out. The car's a lot better than I could go there that last run. I'm just give out. I'm dehydrated, and I need to let someone give that car a shot of what can be done.
When that car was out front, you looked pretty healthy.
Car is awesome. I can't say enough. Bell South and Burger King, the whole crew here did a heck of a job. I'm just sorry I couldn't be the one to put it in victory lane.
Okay, good effort today. Dick Berggren.
And Mike McLaughlin is back in the pits as predicted. They are working on the car. You see the big tall guy over by the right front fender? That guy's name is Big Guy, 6'8", Steve Harwig, the Jackman. That's the kind of guy you want to have when you got to replace the nose on a race car.
192 miles have been completed by the field that's still out here running, including Nemechek, who led the first 67 laps of this event. Came in here running the fever this morning, has been sick for 3 days, gave it his best shot. Felt he had to turn it over, and he's got a good shoe to continue the effort today with Derek Cope now in the car. We'll return to the Homestead Motorsports Complex after this message and a word from your local station. They've completed 132 laps, 198 miles, 68 laps to go. Tim Fedewa, who'd been leading, pulled in, topped the tank. That could be a very good move. He may be able to go home from here as they get ready on a restart. Take a look at the top 10 coming around. There you see them. And Ned, there's a mix-up in the personalities here because of this 2 tire change.
Yeah, apparently some of them, Michael Waltrip and Terry Labonte, apparently only took on 2 tires. And several others that were running back about 12th to 15th place, and that could be good strategy as well. Certainly gave them good track position. Now Kenny Wallace up there in the lead with Terry Labonte in 2nd place. We haven't seen much of Terry Labonte, and here's a spin.
2 cars, 3 cars involved.
Is that Hebron up on the outside?
Looks like Hebron.
Doug Hebron.
Also Elton Sawyer's in this one again. That's his 2nd time into a fray today. There's Hebron, and there's the 4 of Jeff Purvis also collected. So they race back to the stripe. They'll come back to the line, and easily out in front is Kenny Wallace as they come back with yellow being shown another time. Terry Labonte in 2nd, Michael Waltrip 3rd, Johnny Benson in 4th, and coming up 5th, Mark Martin. Incident coming out of 1 on that restart. Well, that's only the 2nd time today in all of these cautions, this being what, the 8th of the afternoon. It's been that first turn of that restart that's caught him.
And right there is a situation. Mike Wallace tried to get back up to the leaders when they were given 1 lap, the signal for 1 lap to go. He's been a lap down. We've seen him a number of times try to get back in the lead lap. He raced hard going into turn 3 to try to get up there, but he didn't get back to the leaders. That happened in the on the first lap. Had he gotten back up there, his brother's leading the race, I believe that Mike Wallace would have got his lap back this time, but he wasn't up there far enough to do it.
That doesn't happen in the Bodine family, does it?
Well, here's a replay of
all
what
right,
happened.
Let's take a look.
I'm not going to comment on that.
Okay, all right. See what happened here. This is turn 1. 32 car, Jarrett.
And on the inside, and something happens up in front of them.
That's Hebron.
That's Hebron that spins around.
Purvis in the number 4, the yellow car, about to go sideways. He's beside Jarrett now.
Elton Sawyer went underneath, and he lost the car. He spun the car in front of everybody.
There goes David Green. Looked like he got through okay.
No margin for error in turn 1, and particularly on these. Doesn't matter what division you're going to run here. Now, from up on top, this is how it looked.
Like Hebron just lost the car coming off of the first corner.
Oh, Purvis got caught long after.
Yeah, long after Hebron had spun.
Elton Sawyer had spun around, and Purvis just caught the back of his car. And
Chad Little avoiding this melee.
Oh boy, you hate to see that. All that smoke and cars going every way, but Chad manages to slide
He drove
by.
through that when he said, I'm through it, and then all of a sudden he sees more up there in front of him.
Elton jumped back in front of him. Whoa.
And more important, I think, the Joe Nemechek car got through with Derek Cope and the Fedewa car. They were both way in the back of that pack on that restart. They both slid through that without any problem.
135 of 200 laps complete. Kenny Wallace still maintaining the lead over Terry Labonte, Johnny Benson, Mark Martin, Hermie Sadler 5th, Dale Jarrett 6th, Ward, Burton, and then there's Jason Keller, followed by David Green. Check back through the field here. And look at the. Let's go to Mike Joy.
Well, John Munson gets the Frequent Flyer Award this weekend. He's Hermie Sadler's new crew chief next year. He chiefed Ricky Craven to 2nd place in the Busch Series a couple of years ago, but you had a commitment to a team up north for this season, and they couldn't end the season. They kept raining out. What'd you do this weekend?
Well, I flew from Boston, Massachusetts to here in Miami. Worked on Friday, Flew back Friday night to Connecticut, raced at Lime Rock yesterday. We had a really good car with the Bulls racing team from Ellington, Connecticut. And unfortunately, the motor blew up with 4 laps to go. I flew back last night, got with the guys, talked to Hermie. Everything went well yesterday, and I'm back here again. We haven't got a good car today, and I'm very happy to be here.
They have 4 good tires, Ken, and they say fuel is no problem. They're good to go.
They're in 5th place, Hermie Sadler and company. There are your leaders. I tell you got Terry Labonte looking over your shoulder, and you got to think twice out there, Jeff. You get him up in these races, the old Iceman. Hot day like this, he just kind of licks his chops and waits.
Yeah, he's sitting in that car just waiting for this restart to get going, this race to get back going. He has a good car. He's ready to go. He's cool, the Iceman. He doesn't get too excited in the beginning of these races, and that's what we saw today, just kind of laying back, waiting for right now, this time of the race.
Can't wait too much longer. Somebody's got to put their name on that top of the trophy for the first time here at Homestead Motorsports Park. Seeing a complete rundown of the field there. Taking you back through it.
Yeah, all of these cars are still in the lead lap, Ken, as we see through 18th there. And according to our calculation, 20 cars are in the lead lap. Larry Pearson's car just made a pit stop there a moment ago. In fact, several of those did. Hutton and Hebron came down pit road after he hit the wall over there. It spun out at least. So you can see the others, how far they are behind. As we get on down there, you see the cars are a number of laps down.
There's Mclaughlin, 8 laps down, going for that points deal.
He's 2 positions in front of Chad Little. Chad was 10 laps down, but they're just 2 positions apart. That's not enough points for Mclaughlin to make up.
So Little would stay second in the points unless
if they stayed where they are now. But here comes Terry Labonte down pit road and running in 2nd place. He must have figured he didn't have enough fuel to go the rest of the way, so he's not taking chances. And others coming in as well. Tim Fedewa coming back in, although he was back near the end of the pack anyway, so he had nothing to lose.
They're going to change a couple more tires too on Terry's car. I guess they had them, so they figured they might as well use them.
Yep.
Hey, tonight on CBS, it begins with 60 Minutes. You mean to say drinking in moderation can help my heart? Yes, that's exactly what they're saying. And we'll tell you why tonight on 60 Minutes. That will be followed by Sybil and Almost Perfect. Then it's part 1 of the CBS miniseries Nothing Lasts Forever, starring Vanessa Williams and Brooke Shields. That's all tonight on CBS. Terry Labonte on pit road, lap 137. 200 laps the distance to be made.
That's the view out of Mark Martin's car. And Mark is, putting himself in 4th place, well, actually 3rd place right now. And we understand he changed 4 tires on that last stop. So maybe Mark has been sandbagging or just laying back earlier in this race, and now is going to make a move. He had troubles early in the race with tires, but appears to be in really good shape now with 4 new Goodyears. And right behind him is Sadler. Dale Jarrett is back up front. Ward Burton, Jason Keller. I'll tell you, this race is not over by any means right now.
What's interesting to me is 205 miles into this race, 94.5 miles to go in the event. And all of a sudden, those masters of the game that have had a lot of Winston Cup experience, they're just progressing right back to the front. We had a whole period of a lot of action, a lot of stuff happening out here in the track, and you didn't see too much of the Terry Labontes and the Mark Martin. But lo and behold, down toward the finish, and here they come, knocking on the door. Here's Dick Burton.
Phil Martosi wears many hats at the racetrack. He is the car owner for Kenny Wallace, number 8, currently in the lead. He is also the spotter. He watches Wallace's car from high atop the grandstand, tells Wallace when there's a car around him, and he's doing the fuel calculations. And he really loves these caution laps. Martosi has just radioed down to the crew, we have enough fuel to make it. They're going to try to go all the way on what they have.
And that's for Kenny Wallace, who is in the lead in car number 8. Wasn't he a bookkeeper? I mean, he could do all those things. Car number 8, Wallace in front, Benson right there, parked on his rear bumper. Wallace trying to shake some of that goo off those tires before they get ready to go racing once again. On pit road, Cope has come in. Heveron is back on another time. All of this happening at lap 138. There you see those 2 leaders. See it come around this down this backstretch. There's 75 beautiful palm trees. We're saying here that Monday there were no trees there. Jeff said that was the best part of driving that truck race and winning yesterday, was driving down the backstretch. He thought it was so pretty. Going 175 miles an hour down there. He's looking out over the national park off the first turn and admiring the scenery.
It was very distracting. You came off the turn 2, and here these palm trees were sticking right up along the racetrack, and real pretty, but a little distracting.
Well, off turn 2, you look right down toward the Keys, toward Meridian, Key West. Look off over there. There's the ocean off turn 4. Beautiful place. Coming to Florida, Homestead's really back on the map, folks. Here's Mike Joy.
Well, as David If promised at the top of the day, he's brought Phil Parsons in on every caution flag to top off. This was no exception. Derek Cope came in twice for tires and then for fuel. Mike Mclaughlin, Tim Fedua, Ron Thiel, the only Grand National North driver to make this show, also came in for fuel. And Terry Labonte came in for fuel and 2 right side tires. Now Labonte's looking for his 2nd trophy of the weekend. Hunting in Montana with Benny Parsons on Friday, he bagged a 10-point buck.
Whoa. Whoa. Where did he do that?
Montana.
Montana.
On Friday, while his younger brother Bobby came down here in the heat and qualified his race car.
Darn. He could have come up to Vermont. Had a really good time. Here they had enough snow so you can really find them.
If he bagged a 10-point buck, he really had a good time.
We got them all shapes and sizes up there. They start at 10 points and go up.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Everything's bigger than in Vermont, right?
Hey, the Olympics are 835 days away over in Japan. How's your sled coming? Not your race car. I'm not trying to be a, but how's that Olympic effort?
Doing really well. Bob Cuneo boxed everything up here last week. They sent all the sleds to Europe. They start racing this weekend, and that effort's still going. And anyone out there listening wants to help, Bobsled Federation, we all need your help, so we appreciate anything we can get.
Ask Goldine anything. It brings us back to sponsors. I know the Olympic folks are thrilled about what you've done to help and get that U.S. team up and back on top. And
really excited about it. Just like we're excited about this restart with Kenny Wallace leading the pack down into turn 1.
Now, Mike Wallace, his brother, did get up there this time. He's right behind. Well, he just got passed by Johnny Benson. There's Mike Wallace in the car number 90. And it would be interesting to see if there were another caution early, if Mike would be able to get back in the lead lap.
Larry Pearson is back in his own car again. Take a look at this battle for the lead as Kenny Wallace, he's not giving Benson any kind of an opportunity to take that inside line away from him. He is really being very careful, driving defensively down there. Uses that late apex into turn number 1 to hold him off just in case. Here he comes for turn 2. On this restart, you had Wallace first, Benson second, and Mark Martin back up to 3rd, Sadler in 4th. He can go home from here. Dale Jarrett, he's come back up to 5th. And up there, smelled those first 3 or 4 spots. Pretty good, came back. Now you're back with Mark Martin. He's right up behind the Jeff Purvis car, running a lap down, cuts inside. Got to be very careful. You're treading on eggs right here. Down out of turn 4 in the main straightaway. Stack them 3 wide. Here comes Martin. Sadler looking to the inside and deciding that discretion is the better part of valor.
Purvis gave Mark a little room off turn 4, but Mark couldn't take advantage of it. Didn't have enough momentum to make the pass down the front straightaway.
There you see Jarrett in the 32, and here comes Ward Burton.
Here's the car number 1. It's Hermie Sadler going by Mark Martin. Mark slipped a little bit coming off of turn 2. There goes Jarrett by. Ward Burton will go by as well. So Mark Martin losing about 5 or 6 positions. David Green went by. He just got a little bit wide coming off of turn 2, and the train went by.
Mark Martin missed the train coming out of turn number 2. Guy that's beginning to catch on, though, was the caboose on this restart, and that was number 14. Making his way back up, treading gingerly through this field. Along comes none other than the Iceman, Terry Labonte. Here's Martin looking up from under David Green's number 44. That's in 8th position.
See those palm trees down the right side?
Yeah.
They're pretty.
Yeah.
Distracting.
Somebody told me when they came here Monday that there were no palm trees over there.
No, weren't any palm trees out in front either.
And
wasn't any of this
them all
grass.
this week.
It's been incredible.
Well,
what a week they built a racetrack. You see Purvis backing up.
Boy, he got passed by both Hermie Sadler and Dale Jarrett in between turn 3 and 4 and came off of turn 4 very high. Several other cars went by, and there's a lot of jockeying around back there, a lot of movement by a number of cars.
Yeah, if you just lose a little of that speed, that momentum off the corner, these long straightaways, you know someone is going to pass you, and sometimes it's 3 or 4.
If you're just joining us, 2,100 feet make the straightaways, front and rear, 600-foot short chutes, 8, we think it's 8+ degree banking here, making for very exciting action. You can try it 2 and 3 wide, but you darn well want to be able to get it back down into those corners, because if you're 3 wide in turn 1, you have a wide open time at the hospital that evening. If you check out, look you all over, it's scary stuff.
Got a spin off
Doug Hebron. Doug Hebron in car number 35.
And he's collected something. The nose on that one is bent up.
Caution is out.
Mark it down as caution number 9 this afternoon for Doug Hebron.
Okay,
running
now
20th.
Here's an interesting thing. Kenny Wallace is leading. Mike Wallace is in 3rd, but he's a lap down. Is
Hebron started?
Yeah, and I don't think Kenny's going to let his brother get back in the lead lap. Caution is already out. Nope, didn't do it. Ooh!
Whoa.
And Mike Wallace hit Benson coming down the front straightaway there as Benson was slowing down.
Turned him sideways. There you see Hebron's number 35 and Mike Wallace. Benson, as they came to the line to get that caution flag, they go all the way around. They had to come around Hebron. He got it fired, brought it across the line, and the fireworks were just behind.
Well, you know, I'm sure Kenny wanted to let his brother get that lap back, but Johnny Benson was running 2nd, and Johnny would have gone by, taking the lead. In this track, it's so hard to pass, and Johnny has such a fast car. You know, Kenny just couldn't afford to slow down to try to let Mike go by.
Yeah, you're right, Jeff. It would not have meant that he would have got back in the lead lap if Kenny would have slowed down. Probably he'd have lost the lead and still wouldn't have got back.
Take a look at the Benson Wallace tap. Whoa!
That wasn't a love tap, folks. That wasn't on purpose. That was an accident. Johnny slowed down. They were coming to the start-finish line, and Johnny slowed up, and
Wallace was flat-footed on it. He was trying to make that lap up.
He sure was. And that's a good example of why it's so darn hard for drivers and even brothers to be friends. I'm sure Mike's saying, I wanted that lap back.
Okay, we'll take a quick commercial break and be back with more here at the Homestead Motorsports Complex. It's the Jiffy Lube Miami 300.
We're still under caution here at Miami, and a bang on the caution lap between Mike Wallace and Johnny Benson running up in 2nd place. Steve Byrd, what was that all about?
Boy, I don't know. Mike is a little ambitious here. He wasn't going to catch Kenny, you know. But we think we're all right. We got a balloon sticking out in the back there, a little parachute, but we still had a lot left. We were sitting there just waiting. So we'll just wait and see what happens. Johnny's doing the best we can, but we're having a ball.
Remember, those are the 2 cars that banged together side to side coming for the checkered flag 2 weeks ago at Rockingham, Mike Wallace and Johnny Benson. Here's Dick Bergman.
Well, Doug Hebron's car will surely not fit the NASCAR templates anymore. The nose is all pushed in. They're trying to get some of the sheet metal out of the tires so that Hebron can motor on. His car owner, Mclaughlin, who builds many of the chassis. That's good. This thing is probably bent under that sheet metal.
Okay, the green flag waves as we get a restart here. And Kenny Wallace gets out in front of his brother, Mike Wallace.
Benson goes right back to the inside, pulls in front of Mike Wallace. Just punted him here in this main straightaway coming to the line. Hermie Sadler gets in line. The man trying to move up through now is the number 14. Keep our eye on just how Terry Labonte does as he wends his way up through this traffic. Currently number 14, Terry Labonte, you saw briefly up in front, back in 17th spot. There he is. And he's closing in on Larry Pearson, who's back aboard number 92. Out of the 4th turn and down the main straightaway comes Kenny Wallace.
Ooh,
we've got
Ward
big
Burton
trouble. Ward Burton
down on the inside hard, and David Green hit him apparently, or hit the outside wall or something. He was involved in it.
Ward Burton, winner of his first Winston Cup race, rides down that cat car, number 95, and there you see David Green's 44. He had been running in the 6th position. Ward was just in front of him in 5th, and they're racing back to the line another time.
And here we go.
Okay, now Mike Wallace has passed Johnny Benson, but now Benson passing him back. He's going to try to keep him that lap down. Even if Kenny would have slowed down, just like Jeff explained there a moment ago, it wouldn't have done him any good.
Not going to happen again, Mike. Boy, he's sure trying to get that lap back, but
he has worked all afternoon trying to do that.
Circumstances just aren't.
Ward Burton walking away.
Ken, I saw him going into turn 3, and his car got very loose. In fact, he was running behind Dale Jarrett going into that turn, and he dropped back about 5 or 6 car lengths, and then I didn't watch him as he came on off of there. I just thought, well, he's either got a tire going down or there's something wrong. His car just slipped a little bit there with him. Now, whether that had anything to do with the end results here, I don't know, but look at David Green's car.
David Green's car, badly thrashed. It's more like a ship than a boat at that point. Hardest lick that we've seen taken out here for some time by Ward Burton. Remember, he flipped at Talladega back in July. Taking another hard hit today, but he's walked away.
Okay, let's take a look at it and see if we can find out what did happen. There he hits the wall, comes right back down in front of David Green, and there's where David got into him, and Ward spins down to the inside, hits the inside retaining wall very hard, both ends of the car, and then bounces back off out onto the apron of the track.
And it was the tail end of Ward Burton's car that D'd the nose on that 44. Another angle, you can see it here.
Yeah, Ward got high, got up in that gray. That's where the slippery stuff is.
I believe he had a right front tire going down.
It could be possible.
I really believe he had a problem because after seeing him going to turn 3, the way the car acted.
Yeah, the car just didn't turn and didn't stick down to the bottom and slam that wall. And as you can see, folks, again, a hard lick. These cars are really going fast out here.
48 laps to go. We can give you another look at this too. Ooh.
There's another angle. David Green was just an innocent victim of this.
And how about
accident.
from Mark Martin's perspective here, Ned?
Well, you see, Burton hit the wall up there. Mark just stayed up high, and then he saw David Green get into him, so he drove low then and drove right through it. Mark did a good job, heads up driving there.
And he kind of led the rest of the pack, Ned. That's that's sometimes the only way you know where to go. You can't see through that smoke, and you just kind of follow the guy that's ahead of you. And Mark did lead everyone through that wreck.
Bad day for one of the nice guys, Buzz McCall, the owner on that car, but you can be sure he'll be back. Here's Mike Joyce.
David Green, you can see, is okay, but his car is not, Ken. The noses of these cars are made of fiberglass. I'm not sure there's enough big pieces left to tape back together. They have about 20 bungee cords and about 9 miles of 200-mile-an-hour tape, and they're going to try to get David Green back out there to pick up some points here. But a very tough day for him with Ward Byrd crashing right in front of him.
Think about this, Ned. Here's David Green getting out of car number 44, and he's going to climb in for next 95. Year into the 95.
Yeah, isn't that ironic? That's the car that hit him there.
Hello, Mr. New Car Owner, Mr. McCall. I want to talk to you about that. We'll be back with more Homestead Motorsports Park in the Jiffy Lube Miami 300 after this. They've completed a lap under green. That brings us up to 154, the 200 to be run. 17 cars in the lead lap. Kenny Wallace in front, Johnny Benson in second. Mike Wallace tried to slip in there, and Benson wouldn't cut him any slack. So Mike Wallace, in his effort to make up that lap, he's having a hard time of it. Hermie Sadler is running in third in that number 1 car there, and he is looking stouter by the moment. Dale Jarrett 4th, Mark Martin 5th, Jeff Fuller 6th, Dennis Setzer 7th, Nemechek to 8th, and Phil Parsons in 9th. That's Nemechek with Derek Cope doing the assistance in driving today. Benson stays right with Kenny Wallace.
It'll take a few laps to see if, as Steve Byrd said, that balloon on the back of Benson's car hurts him, and he right now he looks like he's doing okay. Another spin up in between turn 1 and 2.
Somebody picks it up.
It's the 87 car. That's Derek Cope.
And Jeff Purvis went up to the wall. I don't know if he hit it or not.
There's no flag out
yellow.
as yet.
They're all going
yellow.
again.
Everybody cleared. We had one do a 360 and come back on. That was the Derek Cope car. Purvis, he got bent up a little, but he's still running, and there is no caution. will stay at 10 cautions, 51 laps under caution so far of the 156, 57 that have been run. And it is a little reminiscent of that first race at Loudon, New Hampshire, when they ran some 4 hours and 12 minutes to decide that one. Brand new track, all kinds of new conditions.
These guys are they're just testing out the whole track, the walls, the grass, you name it, they're testing it. And the Derek Cope went by, and Joe Nemache's car didn't look like he hit anything. He just did a 360.
And he was in the middle of the field.
Lost a lot of positions.
Johnny Benson looking in on the leader.
Hermie Sadler is catching the leaders, guys.
Fidoa is coming on as well.
Yeah, that 87 car with Derek Cope in it was coming on until he got involved in that spin. They gave up a lot of track position.
There goes Fidoa.
He's still coming on.
Helping him get by.
He's back there in 20th spot. He's a couple of laps down, but he's as quick as anything. Isn't Fidoa down?
Well, they're showing him 2 laps down. I'm sorry, I thought he was in the lead lap. They are showing him 2 laps down.
But he is as quick as anything
out
there.
Yes, he is. That surprises me. I didn't know he was laps down. We'll have to check that. I believe we'll see what the scoring when it comes up the next time. I think
I'll tell you what, you may find that you're dead right, Ned. They're going to show him in that lead lap. They've got 2 or 3 lap cars before him, but I can't believe that's correct. He is fast, and he lost 2 laps. He has to stop.
Here's Hermie Sadler, guys. He has caught him. The car number 1, Chevrolet, passing. Ooh,
trying to get underneath Benson there.
It's a tough spot to do it.
That's what you call give and take.
Yep. Yeah, that was not.
Johnny took and Sadler gave.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. We'd had another caution.
Or they'd have taken the wall.
Hey, we got to give a call to Dennis Setzer. He's done a great job today in that Dick Moroso entry. The car actually belongs to Jimmy Spencer, but Moroso's car was wrecked here in practice by Dick Trickle on Friday, and so they withdrew the 10 car of Dick Trickle. I mean that Dennis Setzer was driving, and then put 20 on it, and it's a Dick Moroso entry today, but it's up there in 5th place, doing a great job.
Jimmy Spencer showing a lot of class. Of course, he broke a shoulder.
Yeah,
and it's not down. He wanted to be here so badly, but when he heard about what had happened with the Moroso team, he said, "Hey, you let me drive for you. Let me do something back in return."
And Dick Moroso told me yesterday, I always wanted Dennis Setzer to drive one of my cars. Well, he's got it in there today. I mean, technically it's his entry.
That's the 5th different Grand National team Dennis has driven for this year. It's like Morgan Shepherd in the old days. He really gets around.
Dennis Setzer will be driving full-time for the Aiken Sutton team number 38 that Elton Sawyer drives for now, and the Lipton Tea sponsorship that is on the Champs car, the 74 right there, goes over to that team for next year.
3-car dice up in front. 161 of 200 laps complete. Top 3 coming by, and just behind them and closing is Dale Jarrett.
He might be closing in. I think he is closing in a little bit now.
He's taken about a car length, a car and a half length in the past 3 laps back. He also is closing. And again, I think this speaks to the sense of the racetrack. You have this leader up here, Kenny Wallace. He's running his own pace, doing what he wants to do. And what happens is the rest of this field, they're beginning to bunch up behind him. And you got to find that absolute right moment to make your move.
I tell you, Benson is beginning to work on Kenny Wallace. He's checked that thing out, as Jeff said, after that little bang on the back by Mike Wallace to see how it affected the handling of the race car. Apparently it's not handling too much. And Steve Byrd, the crew chief on Benson's car, said they had some left. They were sitting there riding. Well, it's getting close to time to show your hand. They still got about 38 laps to go. But
Jeff, take us for a ride, if you would. We get back on that in-car camera for a moment. Here's the move down to the inside as he looks on Kenny Wallace to see if he can make that move. But from a driver's standpoint, take us right into turn 3 here.
Turn 3, pretty tricky. You need to get off that corner down that short chute like you saw Kenny, a little more throttle, pull away from Johnny a little bit. But John didn't really have the right line through that corner. Down this long straightaway here, you're looking at that first corner and saying, boy, I hope I hit it right.
How much throttle do you use as you get into this corner?
Well, you're on the brakes really hard going into turn 1, and off the corner we've got
a spinner. 63 has looped it down here in front of us. Curtis Markham, who was running in the 14th position,
and there's
gets
no
it
yellow.
back, and there's no yellow. He got it turned around, kept right on going.
Stays in the lead lap.
Yeah. Anyway, tell us about how much throttle you use, how much brake you use to get around this thing.
A lot of brake going down into turns 1 and 3. And you get down in the middle of the corner. Mark Martin said at the beginning of the show, you have to be careful with that throttle. If you get too much throttle, you'll push up into the wall. So it's just a fine line of throttle and brake getting through that corner right there. But you try to get in the throttle wide open right where Kenny is now. Get off the gas, a little brake to set the car through turn 2 where they're at now, but wide open again right there to get down this long back straightaway. And it's a key. If you don't get back in the throttle, those boys behind are going to pass. Into turn 3 right here, hard on the brakes, really hard. You see Johnny outbroke him a little bit, went in a little deeper, but there Kenny got back in the throttle. Very important. You got to get back in the gas to get these big heavy cars going again. And off of turn 4, Kenny again is really good off the corners. It looks like he's getting good traction, good forward bite, and that's keeping him out front right now.
He doesn't go all the way to the bottom. Stays out about 3 feet.
It looks like the groove's moved up just a little bit. They're not nicking that yellow. See, he's about 3 foot off the yellow line. In practice, they were right against it.
Here's Mike Joy.
Well, it's a bent up, taped up mess. David Green is 12th in the points. He has very little to gain by going back out there, but they're strapping him in. Charlie Smith's raising the window net because they want to send David Green off of this team out on the racetrack. So he's going to go out and try to complete the run. Car owner Bobby Labonte asked me to remind you that Ward Burton, who crashed right in front of David, is the same Ward Burton who ran into Bobby Labonte last week and knocked him out of the Winston Cup race at Phoenix.
Thank you, Mike. Got all that, Ned?
Yep, got it all. Coincidental, I guess. Because certainly, you know, that was not intentional on Ward Burton's part there. He slid up and hit the wall, and David Green just happened to be there. Victim of circumstances.
Kenny Wallace stays first, Benson second. Hermie Sadler in the number 1, the yellow and black car, is third, and Dale Jarrett is fourth. And you see him about 4 car lengths back. Hermie Sadler hasn't won since back at Rougemont, North Carolina. Great little short track in 1994. First part of the year.
There he's closing in on Benson. He's going to try to make a slingshot move. Can he get far enough by? Not that time.
I tell you, Dennis Setzer is beginning to gain on that foursome up front. He had dropped back about 3 or so seconds, but right now he's beginning to close in on him a little bit.
Dennis Setzer in 5th position.
Mark Martin is 6th. Tim Fiedel was 7th. Pearson is 8th. Fuller is 9th. Jason Keller 10th. Phil Parsons 11th. Then Elton Sawyer, Rich Bickle, Michael Waltrip, Joe Nemechek for his car, and Bobby Labonte, no, that's Terry Labonte, and Curtis Markham, the 17 cars in the lead lap.
And that 1 lap down is Mike Wallace still trying to make it up with Purvis in the same lap. And you've got Hevron and Reeves 2 laps down. LePage, Kevin LePage up 3 laps down. He lost his primary car here. Took the horns off the front of that one.
Boy, and Benson's closed right up on the back of Kenny Wallace. I don't know if he got a burst of energy or if the pressure from Hermie Sadler turned him up a notch or what, but they're pushing on old Kenny right now pretty hard.
A lot of pressure on Wallace, the leader. Kenny Wallace, number 8, over Grand Rapids, Michigan's John Benson, who is the Grand National Champion this year after the event that was run at Rockingham. Had that one sewed up. He's staying right there, staying smooth in second, and Hermie Sadler. Wouldn't it be something if he brought it back after that short track win back in April of '94? Dennis Setzer lies 5th, closing on those leaders. Dale Jarrett in 4th. Benson just dogging car number 8. 170 laps now down, and only 30 laps remain to decide this one.
Benson had a run on him. He thought he might be able to pull to the inside, but he couldn't quite do it. See, there are 30 laps to go.
Well, he's right on him through the short chute between 1 and 2. Let's see if he can get a little run off the 2.
And that close, Jeff, he has to take a little air off of that spoiler, doesn't he?
Yeah, it really does, and it can sometimes help the handling. If Kenny's a little tight, a little air off the back loosens the car up, and that can actually make him go a little faster. We'll see here. This is a good shout. Well, we won't see if it loosens him up, but it doesn't appear to be loosening Kenny up at all. Kenny's maintaining that lead, and doesn't seem to be bothering him that Johnny gets up right close behind him.
Now, Dennis Setzer, Ken, I mentioned that he was gaining on this course, and now he's not. He's beginning to lose a little bit.
Backing
there
up.
for a while, he really picked up on him. In fact, Mark Martin is gaining on Dennis Setzer right now.
And that draft has pulled away the front two from the second paired out there. The one of Hermie Sadler and Dale Jarrett. Kenny Wallace. Take a look at Mark Martin's suspension and how it works around this. Jeff, you can tell us a little about this.
Yeah, let me look at that spring, see what Mark has in there. And look at the sparks off the brakes. Those brakes are mighty hot, and you do use them going into these corners like we've talked about. And you can see the sparks, and there's a crash.
Setzer.
And Dennis Setzer, oh, that's too bad. He's running in 5th place, had a great run going.
Dennis Setzer slams the wall. Brings out still another caution. Chalk it up as number 11 for the 5th place runner on the field, the Chevrolet from Moroso Racing, in their final performance. Crashing out here this afternoon. We're going to see a lot more of Dennis Setzer. He drove in trucks. He's driven in the Grand National. We saw him in the sportsman ranks a few years ago. Strong racer. It looks like it's over for him today, as Kenny Wallace still tries to fend off Benson, Sadler, Jarrett, and Martin. Now you're watching Dennis Setzer's car come in. That's an effort for his 3rd win in Grand National Racing, and Moroso Racing lowers their flag after today's competition. Good luck to Dick Moroso. Understand he's building a short track down here in Florida. Hope it's a grand one. I'm sure it will be, like everything else that Dick Moroso has built. All right, we're down to 175 laps complete. Getting down to the finish. You want to see a finish? Take a look at yesterday. This is the Dash Series. They're deciding their championship. It was right to the wire. There's Larry Cottle, Dodge Daytona. He is in front in the points. He's won the national championship twice. Away goes the engine, and away goes Larry Cottle's car. A really nice guy, good racer. Okay, so now you think that the 18-year-old Dennis Hutto has it won. He's in that black number 97. This is on the restart lap to go. Right. Into the wall, got all torn up, and the David Hutto car came across the line, made this big move to get across the line. So he gets himself into the last lap with no front end. And then there was a half-hour discussion as to who would wind up as the national champion. He had tied in the points for the season, and then NASCAR placed David Hutto 5th, up from 6th position, so he won the title by 5 points. Originally they said it had been a tie when the race was over, and therefore it would be decided in favor of this 18-year-old youngster. Anyway. That everybody has said, I mean, Benny Parsons has been talking about how good this young man is, and he'd won, what, 5 or 6 races this year, but actually won it by 5 points. Right. That's how they finished yesterday. The point is, stay tuned, folks. All right, let's go to Dick Byrd.
Well, Ken, just a couple of laps ago, both Kenny Wallace's crew and Dale Jarrett's crew really shook things up down here on pit road. Jackmen, tire men, everybody scampered to the top of the pit wall like they were going to do a quick pit stop, and everybody's watching everybody else. It was a fake. The drivers came by and they all applauded them. That was all they did. But importantly, just a few laps ago, Kenny Wallace called into his crew and said, I know why everybody's hitting the wall off the 4th corner. What's happened is the groove has moved up so close that coming off the corner, they're just tagging the wall. That's what's happening. Mike Joy?
Well, Dick, let me tell you a little about the 3rd place driver, Hermie Sadler. As Ken pointed out, he had a short track win last season. 2nd this year at Hickory and Dover, 3 top 5s, 5 top 10s. But for half the year, Sadler fought a mysterious virus. Didn't even tell his publicist about it, and spent a lot of sheet time, some of it in the hospital. Didn't want word to get out because he kept on racing in between hospital trips. At one point he was about 50%, Now he says he's back 95%, ready to race and ready to win. And a couple of months off this winter will just seal that recovery. But it was kind of touch and go for Hermie's racing career, but nobody knew it. I think that's why his stats this season are not more impressive or indicative of how well that car can run as it is running today.
Well, he's still 13th in points, this Emporia, Virginia driver who folks in Virginia are so proud of. Coming up next on the CBS Sunday afternoon showcase, The Awakening, starring Cynthia Geary and David Beecroft. A Harlequin romance drama about a young woman whose life is turned upside down when she meets an adventurous modern-day bounty hunter. Sounds like a Bodine to me.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, God.
My life's
You're
been
headed
like,
back to the Keys tonight, aren't you?
Yeah, my life's been like a soap opera here lately, but not that bad.
Well, that sounds like a good show.
I might go back to Key Largo.
Like it down there?
I love it. Peaceful, great people, and good food.
11 cautions so far today, folks. As was anticipated with a brand new track and all the energy that's generated by these Grand National drivers, it's a combination that's led to a lot of excitement. There isn't a piece of the wall out here that hasn't got a mark on it from somebody rubbing up here, particularly in turns 2 and in turns 4. Safety equipment taking a final shot at getting this track cleaned up. One lap, we're going to go racing with 24 laps remaining to decide it, Ned Jarrett.
Okay, it was about to get interesting with those 4 cars up front. Now Mark Martin has caught up to him. We'll see if he has anything left. And there's still 16 cars in the lead lap.
Ned, as you look up at that grandstand, I think about Michigan. Remember when we used to first go to Michigan? What did it seat? About 40,000, and now it seats over 100,000. I think that's exactly what we're going to see here in Miami, Florida in years to come. It's just going to keep on expanding and growing, and fun to think we've been here for the first weekend at this grand facility. Beautiful racetrack that the city of Homestead and a promoter named Ralph Sanchez, who brought the Miami Grand Prix to life. Everybody said, oh, you'll never do that. You'll never race down Biscayne Boulevard. They did, and they had some great races. But he wanted a permanent facility, and after the hurricane came through, the people in Homestead went to Sanchez and said, we know you want to build a super speedway. Please come see us. And it all happened from there. And here about, what, 8 months ago, as we mentioned earlier, it was a gravel pit. And here it is today. It is just fine.
They've done a great job. And as we see, Ken, the cars are lining up single file now. We're down under 25 laps to go. So they line up single file for this restart.
I'd like to try this road course, guys. Looks really interesting.
2.21. That's great. Like road racing?
I love it.
Yeah, you go up to the Glen. You get along pretty good up there.
It's back home.
All right, pace cars in, and we're down to decide this one, folks. Kenny Wallace in front, Benson in second, Sadler, Jarrett, Mark Martin, Larry Pearson back to 6th. Fedewa up into 7th, Jason Keller. And then you've got Jeff Fuller, followed by Elton Sawyer, the top 10, and Michael Waltrip just outside. And that move by Labonte hasn't happened. He's still back there in 13th. And nobody in the rear of this came in to make any changes on those cars in the lead lap. Phil Parsons being the last in 16th position. Thought somebody might want to make an adjustment.
Phil did make a couple of pit stops during this caution, so I'm sure they made some adjustments on his car, so we'll see how it pans out for him.
And he changed 2 tires, I believe, on the right side.
Well, there you see him in the 99. Coming right back after Curtis Markham in the 63. Up in front, Kenny Wallace still has the advantage.
Yeah, and those 4 cars are beginning to pull away. Mark Martin just not able to stay with them. As a matter of fact, he's dropped back. Larry Pearson has now moved up into the 5th place. Mark Martin has dropped back to 6th and maybe about to lose it. Yeah, he's losing positions. There you can see him up on the outside as these cars go by down on the inside. Jason Keller went by, and the car number 47 of Fuller goes by. Here's Michael Waltrip on the inside of the car number
38. Elton Sawyer? Is Sawyer in there?
Yeah, and up front, Hermie Sadler got up the side of Benson going into turn 3, but had to back off.
Michael Waltrip just tapped Mark Martin there.
Yeah, there's a lot going on over there in that group. So great racing going on all over the place. Of course, it's time now. If you got anything left, you got to put the hammer down and show it.
Showing 20 laps to go here as Kenny Wallace gets a breather and pulls away a little.
Kenny's loving it when he sees those cars racing behind him, side by side, door to door, because he was able to pull away a little bit, but there Benson really got to run off that corner, gained a little bit and definitely pulled away from Hermie.
And Larry Pearson is going to make it a 5-some here in just a second, guys. He is really coming. You see those 4 cars? Look there on the right of the screen. Larry Pearson has caught him, I mean, just very quickly. He was way back, 10 or 20 car lengths back when they came by the last time, and here he is up on Dale Jarrett's bumper almost.
Put Johnny Rumley in there for a while. Now Pearson back in the car. There's that glare coming down the main straightaway. That might bug you a little.
It bugged me. I'd have to have my Keller loops on to stand that or something.
See?
Get those commercials in there, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Can't be trusted.
Everybody's got a deal.
Well, these guys, they spread out a little bit one lap, and the next lap you come by, look, they're close again. It's what a neat racetrack. A great racetrack.
Kenny Wallace stays up in front as he seeks his 8th win in Grand National Racing. Coming right after him, the 1995 National. And here comes Sadler running inside. Sadler found the hole. Benson for just a moment off the line. And it's Sadler into second place. Now he's ready to try and challenge. Back comes Benson. He looks to the inside. Down this 2,100-foot straightaway, 3 wide. Here comes Dale Jarrett into it. Jarrett plows to the bottom. He's got Benson pinned on the outside.
And here comes Larry Pearson.
Larry Pearson's in there. Pearson going for a spot.
Don't get to the outside, guys.
No, sir. It just doesn't pay. Johnny Benson is living proof of that. Went from 2nd back to 5th place in 1 lap.
Hermie Sadler in that 2nd spot. He's never won on a super speedway.
I believe he's got the car to win here today. That car is fast.
Don't give up on that Dale Jarrett behind him either, or Larry Pearson. I tell you what, any one of those front cars could win this thing. It's really hard to see how this is going to play out. Tires, the give up, the handling, we'll see what these last few laps will show us, but Larry Pearson, I think, is a surprise how well he's running. I guess they had a little break. Must have had an iced tea or something.
Well, he got out of the car for a while. Johnny Rumley got in there, kept it in the lead lap, and now Larry got back in it. Larry said they had a great race car when he was interviewed down there after he had to get out of the car because of some exhaust fumes getting up inside.
See there, Hermie closed in on Kenny going into the corner, but he got in the corner too hard. Got a little high, and Kenny pulled away again, and Dale Jarrett pulled right up on his rear bumper.
Kenny Wallace stays in front by about a car length, maybe 2, over Hermie Sadler. Mike Joy told you that interesting story about Hermie Sadler. Covering up, wasn't feeling well, would go out there and drive his heart out. Now he's back and feeling number 1. He's got to be feeling better than he's ever felt in this season right now as he closes and has a chance to go into the record books as the first winner in a major series on this track. Not to take anything away from that British Dash series. Boy, they look like major leaguers yesterday. Our hats off to Hoddle and Hobgood and all those kids that ran that race so well yesterday, and to David Hutto, who won that championship last moments of the event. They put on some good shows, but this one today with 15 to go, you name it. Kenny Wallace, Sadler, Jarrett, Pearson, Benson, and Fidowa back there in 6.
Yeah, he has caught the lead pack now, so you got a 6-pack up there running for the lead. But Kenny Wallace doing okay holding everybody off so far. Jarrett seems to be extremely strong in turns 3 and 4, but a little bit weak in turns 1 and 2.
The charge we anticipated from Terry Labonte doesn't look like it's going to happen. He's fallen back 2 spots into 16. Let's go to Dick Burton.
And I'm with John Urban, who is Dale Jarrett's crew chief and who has been Dale Jarrett's crew chief for virtually his entire career. How about it, John? You got enough stuff to win this thing?
I don't know, Dick. Car's been tight all day, and the weather, the sun goes in and out. We get good and bad. He's just struggling to hold on right now, so maybe he had to tell me something.
You want sun or do you want shade, John?
I just understand you.
Do you want sun or do you want shade?
Well, I'd rather have sun right now, Dick. But
well, it looks pretty good up there. It's mostly sun.
Yeah, it is. Thank you, baby.
Well, there you see him, Dale Jarrett. Closing in on Sadler. Sadler is your 2nd place driver in car number 1.
And Pearson is right there.
Yeah. There's the Sadler crew watching on TV. Hey, guys, you're looking good. A couple of car lengths is all that separates Kenny Wallace from Hermie Sadler. Kenny Wallace was the guy who was giving you that demonstration earlier of what would happen using few soda cans and a few other cans out here as to what happens when you overtake on this track. Right now, he doesn't want anybody getting near him. And for the moment, he has clear sailing. There's no one in front of him, no lap cars around, and he won't be catching anybody up before this one's over.
And you're right, Kenny. He has clear sailing. That means clean air. That means he's getting good downforce in the front. Now here's Sadler making a move to the inside. Not enough. But he has clean air on his car, and this car is getting optimum traction. Everyone else behind him is getting dirty air. That's not helping Dale Jarrett's push. He's up behind those guys. That makes the push worse. And if Hermie Sadler has a push, or his car's a little too tight, it isn't helping him being behind Kenny Wallace. If he could get in front, he might be able to pull away.
If you were of a gambling nature, Mr. Jarrett, what would you say about this one?
Well, I don't know. I think Kenny Wallace is going to be awfully tough to pass. He's had a good race car all day, and he's driven it very well. I think he's going to be very, very hard to pass.
2,100-foot straightaway, and drafting's so important here. A couple of those guys got together on the radios and decided to take a shot at it. Can that work here? Pretty quiet up here, folks. Let's go to Dick Berger.
A reflection of the tension as this race winds down. Kenny Wallace just radioed to his crew and said, don't anybody say a word. Not a word.
He's got to have all of that concentration that he can possibly muster up.
Now that is from the most talkative guy. His mother used to pay him, and he would get the price up to $3 or $4 to see if he could keep still for 20 minutes going to a race.
Here comes Pearson making a move down on the inside of Dale Jarrett. Does he have enough momentum going into the turn? No. Boy, they get awfully close.
That was close.
Couldn't quite do it.
Well, that give and take stuff that we talk about all the time on these races, that's gone right now. These last few laps, it's all take. If you can get your nose underneath somebody, you're going to take that spot, and they're not going to try to give it to you. And there's a case of really close racing.
You think
now, Sadler moves right up on the 8 car again.
Boy, this is a grand start to a great new facility. Here you have 4 men in contention to decide it all with less than 10 to go, down to 9. Wallace stays first. Sadler showing great patience. Coming up next, we'll join the CBS Sunday afternoon showcase presentation of The Awakening, already in progress. Now you can be sure they are talking to Sadler. He's asking them about what at this point. He's in there in second spot. He's looking them over. You know he has some power. As Ned has pointed out, he's as quick as anything here, as quick as that lead car. He'll have to take a shot soon. He's never won a super speedway race. Looks again to the inside and won.
I don't think he can do it. He thought he might have some momentum going, and he might be trying to fool Kenny Wallace a little bit, but Kenny didn't fall for it.
Had to lift a little earlier with that.
Caution is out.
Caution is out.
Spin off turn 4. It's 81 car, Ron Teal.
That's kid from the NASCAR North Series. Ron Teal, the only NASCAR North driver that came in and made it into the show, not including the LePage car, which has been a regular down here. I mean, that's a hard
These guys
hit.
are racing back, and
yeah, they're coming to the strike. Here they come, those front 4 around that wrecked car.
Pearson got around Dale Jarrett.
Yeah, I think Dale backed off when he saw the caution lights and
lost a spot.
Yeah.
I don't know if that'll stand. I don't believe he raced
either.
back here in the Busch Series. We'll see what the ruling is on that. I don't believe he can race back, but we'll see. And there's some damage to Teal's car, so it's going to take a while to clean this thing up, and we don't have many laps left. Let's well, I wish I had a wrecker. I'd go out there and hook it up, drag him out of there. I want to see this thing under the green.
It will end under green. I think they'll get that out of there in a real hurry.
Kenny Wallace is in there. He's saying caution's okay. He's not worried about caution. Those other boys, they want to see the green flag fly again, though.
Ron Thiel's car, already they have the wreckers out to it. 16 cars in the lead lap. Labonte on the back end of it. Markham 15th. Sawyer 14th. Rich Bickle is in 13th. Joe Nemechek, who sat on the pole today and led over 50 laps at the outset, he's in 12th. And Jeff Fuller is in 11th. Phil Parsons in 10th. Michael Waldrop is in 9th. Mark Martin finds himself 8th. And those up in front with a shot at this, Sadler, Wallace, or rather Wallace, Sadler, get it right, Jarrett, Pearson, Keller, Benson, Fedewa, Martin. Decide this one today. Final moments coming up. Jiffy Lube Miami 300. They already have the wrecker on that car, and I think they're taking a little extra time with that driver. That was a hard hit. That car looked like it turned and just back solidly in.
He hit the wall hard.
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll get a report as soon as we can on that driver. Here's Mike.
Ken Ronfield Jr., second-generation driver, cut his teeth on the tough quarter mile at Riverhead, Long Island. Bought this new car from Bobby Labonte and a brand new Hones and Eanes engine. His sponsor wanted to come run down here and then do a tour of some 20 furniture stores in Florida over the next 3 weeks. They'll have a bit of work to do on that car first before it becomes just more than sofa material. You were speculating about what they might have been telling Hermie Sadler, and John Munson was not out on pit road. He was back underneath in the garage area watching the monitors and talking to Hermie every lap, telling him not to drive the car into the corner too hard. He still thinks they have a chance to win this race if it goes green.
Any other speculation about any of those other top 4 or 5 cars from you folks on pit road would be appreciated. Any news or notes about how they're coming? And they're bringing the ambulance around for Ron Thiel in this car number 81, which has crashed coming out of turn 4. You see him walking away, but he really took a bell ringer as he backed it into the wall.
Well, that's good to see him walking away. Hopefully the injuries are not too serious. We'll go to the track hospital and get checked over.
There is not a lap counter. 194, they're showing complete. 6 laps left. 5 when they come by this time, and we won't get a start here. 5 when they come by this time.
I believe they'll get it cleaned up so they can get this thing to going.
1 lap and they're going to go racing.
Right.
They're really pushing
got the car off the racetrack.
I must, you know, that business when they have those big spins, so many times you see them ready to throw flags immediately, and they've held a moment here, and it's worked out, I think, in favor of those competitors. Because I don't think there's anything worse than breaking the rhythm. If you can just get into the rhythm, it'll work. And the more flags you throw, the more it breaks up the rhythm and discombobulates everybody. Somebody always misthinks about how the tires are working at that time, and then you get those restart incidents and see a lot of spins and dings and bangs. All right, here's Dick Bergman.
Well, Ken, you were wondering what the crew chiefs were saying. Jim Murray, who is the crew chief for Kenny Wallace, just sort of grinned and said, "We're good. We're real good." John Irvin, on the other hand, who is crew chief for Dale Jarrett, just sort of winced and said, "We're tight. Too tight."
Yeah, I think that's been seeing Dale push up off of turn 2 over there. Has been really losing time there. He seems to be good through 3 and 4. Larry Pearson now has gotten around Jarrett, and his car was really good, so he might get right in that mix up there with those top 3.
And we'll see who can pick up that rhythm the best and the fastest on this restart. I'll tell you what, there's nothing like just green flag racing. When you're running good, you feel good, you have the groove, you have everything worked out, and you hate to see a caution. And I'm sure Kenny Wallace didn't want to see this caution, but I'm sure he's told his guys, don't say anything. I'm going to win this thing.
Yeah. Let me do it.
But he'll have a lot to say, you can be sure, if he can pull that. Don't forget, we have our movie coming up next, In Progress, this afternoon here on CBS. Getting Ready for Green, coming down to it with Kenny Wallace, Hermie Sadler, Larry Pearson, and he did retain that 3rd slot. Back behind him comes Jarrett, and this is to decide it.
Well, Pearson didn't get a very good restart there.
Jason Keller did, though.
Yes, he did. Jason Keller. Well, Johnny Benson's one that really got the restart. Jason Keller was running in 5th, and Benson got around him on the restart.
Tim Fedewa back in 7th.
Looked like Larry was laying back trying to get a little run, but the boys in front got the run instead. But he's caught him.
Yeah, he caught right back up. It didn't take him long.
He got off of turn 2 really good and closed that gap up quite a bit. Let's see how he comes off this 4th corner. This will tell you what he's got.
Yeah, he has been getting off of turn 2 very good. He got off of 4 okay. He held his own there. Jason Keller tries to get back on the inside of Benson. There he is going down into the turn, trying to take that 5th place away, but couldn't quite do it. While they race, that foursome pulls away.
3 to go, 2 when they come by next time.
Big battle going on for 5th place back there. 3 abreast, they go into turn 3.
Oh, look
at this. Tim Fedewa down on the inside. Benson on the outside. He's going to be the big loser in this deal. Michael Waltrip comes down, tries to get on the inside of him as well, while that battle continues up front.
And Sadler,
lots going on back in there. Mark Martin gets around Benson. He really lost a lot of positions there.
2 to go.
Sadler is really pushing Kenny into the corner, trying to get Kenny into the corner a little too hot, so Kenny slides up so he can slip underneath him.
Benson fading badly here at the end of the race, sliding back through the field.
He is on his bumper. Let's see.
He is. He touches him a little bit there almost. Now he gets a run on him. He's on the inside. He'll have him.
Can Larry Pearson go with him? What's going to happen here?
Back comes
Kenny.
Wallace.
Oh!
They all wreck.
The all-top
Jarrett
three,
comes
and Dale
around.
Jarrett is going to come home. The top 3 are in the wall. Dale Jarrett coming to the line. This is going to bring out the caution. Kenny Wallace in the wall. Hermie Sadler is there. Larry Pearson. And the winner to the stripe is Jarrett.
He gets the white and the yellow flag.
And that race is over.
Wow.
All he needs to do is come back and get the checker. But
and Vito was going to come home in 2nd spot. Boy, what a way for Fedewa to leave this team after he won for them at Nazareth. He comes back for Ray and Diane DeWitt, and in this dramatic moment, right at the finish, top 3 in the wall. Sadler made the move on the inside. We got to see that again, and there you see the catastrophe that lies on the outside of turn 3.
Well, those 3 race cars are torn up.
Jarrett has won it as the 3 leaders crash going down at 175 miles an hour into the 3rd turn. Here's Sadler getting out. Kenny Wallace still in his car. He's out.
There he comes out. Oh boy,
It was a championship car one moment. It is junk the next.
yeah, those fellas hit pretty hard. They're going to sit down and think about this and stay away from each other for a little bit. That's probably the best thing they can do.
Dale Jarrett.
He's a happy
Caution
guy
flag
right
is
there.
out. Has the side curtain down, and he's ready to wave it up. Hudson folks who just came on board with him get themselves a win in the first race ever run at the new Homestead Motorsports Complex. What a finish on this one. Jarrett pulls it off. He waited, didn't want to go up and mix it up, and what a good decision that was.
And that means Ford will win the Manufacturers Championship in this division.
So away on a lap of honor goes Dale Jarrett. Take a look at what happened on the final lap going to turn 3.
Well, Sadler got by Kenny Wallace going into the turn, then backed off, and I don't know, they just all started bumping each other.
I think Pearson down on the bottom got into the back of Sadler, and that drove him up into Wallace.
I think Hermie thought he was going to get in there too fast and slide up to the wall, and they'd get back past him, so he was trying to protect himself.
Exactly. He had the bottom groove. He was just trying to protect that. He went in a little easier. You can see Larry come up behind him, and let's see. That angle doesn't show if
yeah,
he
right
really
there.
hit him.
I think he hit him.
I think he hit him too.
Yep.
And I think you're right. Sadler lifted. He had that. He got a tight pinch on that apex going into the turn, and Larry Pearson. And that's exactly what Wallace was worried about. What he was talking about earlier. Except it wasn't a lap car when he was doing that demonstration with those cans when we came on the air today. And that's how his day ended. In the can. Dale Jarrett wins here this afternoon, and I bet he is as surprised as anyone. His car coming down. We'll get a quick word with him, hopefully, after this outstanding run for this great racer from up in North Carolina. He's pulling his car in. Dale Jarrett has won again. 2 wins. Johnny Benson, here he is, pulling off the helmet and coming down. Pulling up is Dale Jarrett, guy that won the Daytona 500, made history there, has made history this afternoon here in Miami at the Homestead Motorsports Complex.
You really have to give credit to those front 3 guys, or 4 guys actually. They were just racing, And, you know, Mike Joy's got some more on this. Let's hear from Mike.
Well, it all ended up like Kenny Wallace said, like that. Richard Petty said, I'd rather be lucky than good. You were both.
Yeah, I was more lucky than good today. The guys did a good job, and thanks to Hudson Technologies who came on board for this race. And this is a great feeling. I know that it wraps up the Manufacturers Championship in this for Ford, so we really appreciate it. Just, you know, those guys were racing hard. I saw that, you know, my only chance was to back off and see what was going to happen, and it worked out.
Congratulations, Dale Jarrett, surprise winner here at Homestead.
Take a look at the top 10 as Dale Jarrett wins for the 3rd time this season in Grand National. After starting 26 today, it's his 11th career Grand National victory. And Tim Fedewa gets the feeling of success in 2nd place. Jason Keller for 3rd, Michael Waltrip in 4th, then Mark Martin. Phil Parsons comes home 6th, Derek Cope, Jeff Fuller, Johnny Benson, Curtis Markham round out the top 10 in this action-filled inaugural race here at Homestead, Florida. For Ned Jarrett, Jeff Bodine, Mike Joy, and Dick Berger, and I'm Ken Squire saying so long from Homestead, Florida, where Dale Jarrett has won the inaugural Jiffy Lube Miami 300.